Chapter 1081. To be loved by such a peerless woman was a blessing that no man could ask for. Thank you, but you have other tasks this time. Jun Xiaoyao began to arrange the follow-up plan. Tuoba Yu and the others, as well as some of his followers, needed to be properly arranged. Jun Xiaoyao naturally didn't have the time, so he could only leave it to Luo Xiangling. He also believed that with Luo Xiangling's ability, it was more than enough to complete these tasks. But Luo Xiangling was still worried about Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao sighed helplessly in his heart, then hugged Luo Xiangling. His lips approached Luo Xiangling's sparkling earlobe, and he said gently, "Don't worry, I promise you that I will be safe and sound. When the time comes, we will return to the immortal region together." These gentle words made Luo Xiangling's delicate body go soft. Jun Xiaoyao's personality was usually indifferent, and there were rarely times when he was gentle. But when he was really gentle, it was very fatal. Understood. Luo Xiangling didn't say anything else, just quietly leaned on Jun Xiaoyao's shoulder. After some small talk, Jun Xiaoyao and Luo Xiangling separated. Luo Xiangling began to prepare the follow-up plan. She was going to unify those who were loyal to Jun Xiaoyao, such as Tuoba Yu, Fei Qingxue, and the others. As for Jun Xiaoyao, he went to the ancestral land of the Moshi clan. He would adjust his breath there, and then go to the skyless dark world with the other kings. One day later, Jun Xiaoyao came to the ancestral land of the Moshi clan. Looking around, there were many dark palaces floating in the void. There were many powerful auras hibernating in them. There was even an aura that made Jun Xiaoyao's heart palpitate. Calamity level immortal? Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. That kind of forbidden powerhouse was called a calamity. Any one of them could bring great pressure to the immortal region. If there weren't any supreme experts to defend against it, even the border would have been destroyed. However, Jun Xiaoyao breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that. The most terrifying auras seemed to be in a dormant state and were not active. This was good news. "Your Highness, my lord." In the distance, several figures appeared. They were none other than Kagura, Maluo, and the other kings. They sensed Jun Xiaoyao's aura and came to greet him. Even Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohei braced themselves and came. However, his expression was unnatural and somewhat stiff. Of course, they weren't willing to come. However, if they didn't come, they might be accused of disrespecting the monarch. Right now, they didn't dare to offend Jun Xiaoyao. Is this the Dark Devil Monarch? What young hero! There were also a few elders who appeared. All of them had powerful auras and were at least mystique venerable rank. There were also some divine masters and Dao masters. They all looked at Jun Xiaoyao with deep eyes, as if they wanted to find some clues. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm and composed. Even in the face of a group of experts, he was neither arrogant nor impatient. He didn't panic. As expected of the Dark Devil Monarch, there seems to be an invisible force that has buried all of his karma. Nonsense. The Dark Devil Monarch is the direct descendant of the Great Calamity. Of course, it's not so easy for others to find clues. The experts of the Moshi clan were talking. In their minds, they were even more certain that Jun Xiaoyao was the Dark Devil Monarch. "Lord Monarch, when shall we depart? My key is ready." As Maluo spoke, he also took out his apocalyptic forbidden weapon. It was a 9-story dark pagoda. 10,000 demons pagoda. This time, all 6 apocalyptic forbidden weapons were gathered. Jun Xiaoyao's God's Weep Halberd, Kagura's demonic sword Heaven's Weep, Suhongyi's Mahakala Mirror, Maluo's 10,000 demons pagoda, Zhu Ye's torch dragon lantern, Yun Xiaohei's 10-tailed sky destroying plate. No rush. Everyone, take a rest first. After you are fully prepared, we will enter the skyless dark realm, Jun Xiaoyao said. Yes. Maluo nodded. Then, the Moshi clan gave Jun Xiaoyao a good cultivation place. Jun Xiaoyao sat alone. Next, he would enter the skyless dark realm. This was definitely a life and death test for Jun Xiaoyao. A cultivator from the immortal realm entered the skyless dark realm deep in the Avacania lands. This was definitely a feat that few people could achieve since ancient times. The ghost-masked woman might be one, because the mother of the red spider lily once said that the ghost-masked woman had also entered the skyless dark realm. Success or failure depends on this trip. If I succeed, I will be able to completely understand the secrets of the foreign realm. This will be of great strategic importance in the war between the two realms. In addition, there's also a chance to sign in. I wonder what good things I can sign in for. Jun Xiaoyao pondered while looking inside. In his inner universe, the mighty power of faith was as big as a star field. It was like a boundless golden sea. And in the center, the seed of faith was as bright as the sun. Countless chanting and sacrificial sounds rang out. Jun Xiaoyao roughly sensed it. The number of believers of the god of fate and creation had reached 10 billion. In a short period of time, it had expanded 100 times. This was an extremely terrifying speed. Of course, Tuobiyu's role as a missionary tool was also indispensable. He was truly a prodigy at preaching. 10 billion believers sounded like a lot, and it was indeed a lot. If the powerhouses of the Western sect and the Holy Orchid sect were to know of this, they would definitely be jealous. 10 billion believers, even if they wanted to spread it, it would take a long time. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, had directly developed in this short period of time in the foreign realm. Fortunately, the foreign realm didn't have any religious forces. Otherwise, it really wouldn't have developed so smoothly. Although 10 billion believers are a lot, it's nothing compared to the trillions of enslaved creatures in the foreign realm. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself, the power of faith of 10 billion believers was absorbed into the seed of faith. Jun Xiaoyao could feel that the seed of faith was beating like a golden heart. Vaguely, it seemed to be brewing some shocking, transcendent existence. This can be used as a trump card. After returning to the celestial realm, I will also vigorously develop my believers. Jun Xiaoyao decided in his heart. In the foreign realm, he could only rely on his own plans. But if he returned to the celestial realm, he could use the Jun family's influence to promote the Church of Fate. And at this moment, Jun Xiaoyao had a faint feeling. This feeling came from the distant heavenly tomb. Could it be? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes revealed a hint of joy. In the distant heavenly tomb state, in the eternal forbidden land, the heavenly tomb, in a dark valley, there was a rumbling sound, and heaven and earth were shaking. Countless great Tao divine laws circulated around the dark valley. At the same time, there was a majestic qi and blood surging. It even turned into a golden qi and blood dragon that also surrounded the valley. Inside the valley, endless, dazzling brilliance surged. There were tens of thousands of runes that were imprinted in the void. At the same time, dong-dong, the sound of drums that were like thunder on the ground rang out. Every sound seemed to shatter the void. There was something in this valley. It was Jun Xiaoyao's other physical body, which was also his fundamental body. Sacred body of the ancients. No, it should be said that it was the quasi-innate sacred body, Tao embryo. Chapter 1082. Previously, Jun Xiaoyao set up a shocking trap and deceived the heavens. Not only did he win the game against the heavens, but he also made the hidden branch of the Jun family return to the main branch. The only price Jun Xiaoyao paid was the collapse of his physical body. Even the sacred body of the ancients could not withstand it. Fortunately, Jun Xiaoyao signed in for 10 consecutive draws. He integrated the 8-star reward, the origin of the Tao, into the sacred body of the ancients. It allowed him to transform into a quasi-innate sacred body. In addition, he also integrated the 9 immortal life reversing pill and the elixir of 3 lives. It could be said that without these supreme-grade pills and elixirs, Jun Xiaoyao's physical body would definitely take countless years to recover. Although the chaotic physique created by the Qing Emperor's 33th grade chaotic green lotus was also extremely heaven-defying. But only a child would make a choice. Jun Xiaoyao wanted them all. These 2 physical bodies both belonged to Jun Xiaoyao. There was no better or worse. They were both heaven-defying treasure bodies. The 2 could even be superimposed and fused. Jun Xiaoyao could not imagine how strong he would be after the fusion. Now, the entire Dark Valley was filled with the sound of the Great Path. It was obvious. This physical body that had been brewing for a long time was finally going to be completely restored. Not only that, but it would be stronger than the sacred body of the ancients alone. The mystic region, Jiuqian Immortal Academy, in a majestic palace that was like a heavenly palace. Many sage-like elders sat there cross-legged. They were all elders of the Jiuqian Immortal Academy. The elders sitting on the main seat said, with a solemn expression, "I'm sure everyone knows that the 6 kings of the foreign realm have gathered." Many of the elders' expressions changed when they heard this. You should know what the gathering of the 6 kings will bring. It's not just about the legend of the 6 kings destroying the world. It's more about the true horror of the foreign realm that has never been known by anyone since ancient times. The ultimate catastrophe. The words of the first elder made the atmosphere of the entire palace suffocate. Yes, the mystic region also knew about the existence of the ultimate catastrophe, but it was only limited to some of the older generation and high-level experts. After all, this kind of thing was useless even if ordinary people knew about it. On the contrary, it would only increase panic. What exactly is that ultimate calamity? An elder asked. I don't know. I fear that not even the other side understands. If we knew what it was, we wouldn't be so passive. The first elder shook his head slightly. In his opinion, this should be a permanent secret. This was something not even the other side could understand. How could anyone from the celestial realm possibly understand? However, I seem to have heard that in the bygone era, there was a taboo existence of the Jun family that fought against the ultimate calamity. There were also some elders who spoke in a secretive manner. This matter is too old. Even some of the forces of the Xianting and the Archean royalty said that it was just a rumor. No one knows the truth. The first elder shook his head. This matter was very old, and even the Jun family might not be able to understand it. Together with the Xianting and the Archean royalty refuting the rumors, as time passed, no one paid it much attention. Sigh, what a pity in the desolate border battlefield. No one could kill that primal chaos body to the extent where more than 10 seed heavenly talents were killed by that primal chaos body. One of the elders sighed deeply, exasperated at the failure to meet his expectations. That desolate border training could be said to be the 9 Heavens Immortal Academy's humiliation. They were completely suppressed by War God Academy. Strictly speaking, they were suppressed by Jun Xiaoyao alone. Even the Big Dipper Great Emperor couldn't kill that primal chaos body. With just my academy's little fellas, do you think they can do it? An elder said with a bitter smile. When they thought of this scene, many elders' expressions became serious. The hidden dangers of the world destruction 6 kings, together with the hidden dangers of the ultimate calamity. After this great war between 2 worlds, the future of the celestial realm really was in imminent danger. Right at this time, an elder came to seek an audience. What is it? When he saw that elder, the first elder said calmly. Reporting to first elder, the Jun family has made a big move, that elder said excitedly. Oh, didn't you hear about it before? The first elder raised his eyebrows. It's different this time. Not only did the Jun family mobilize an army, but many Jun family ancestors and ancient ancestors also appeared. There are even great emperors who have appeared. What? How is this possible? In the entire hall, all the elders couldn't help but stand up. The first elder's eyes trembled. Up until now, although there were many conflicts between the celestial realm and the foreign realm, they were all limited to a certain scale. That was because no true great emperor-level figure took action. Even the foreign realm's Scarlet Owl King, the immortal realm's Big Dipper Great Emperor, and the others only did so for some purpose. But now, the great emperor of the Jun family appeared, so the situation was definitely different from before. No, because of the archaic Treaty of Alliance, how many great emperors are there in the celestial realm? How can the Jun family still have great emperors? The first elder said, in this era, great emperors rarely appeared, as rare as phoenix feathers and Chelan horns. The reason was because of the archaic Treaty of Alliance. No matter how deep the Jun family hid, how many great emperors did they have? It's the hidden branch, the Jun family's hidden branch, and there are still great emperors, said the elder. The first elder was speechless. He almost forgot that the Jun family's hidden branch had already returned to the main branch. Before, he only counted the strength of the Jun family's main branch. On the side, an elder said, "First elder, is the Jun family making such a big fuss this time to stop the world destroying 6 kings and the ultimate disaster?" The first elder pondered for a moment and said, "And it's not impossible. Pass down the order, my 9 Heavens Immortal Academy will also mobilize. This time, all the geniuses will be sent out to gain experience. This is a rare baptism, and they might even be able to witness a battle between great emperors. This kind of war between the 2 realms' influence was much greater than the undying battle, and it was a good experience for the younger generation." Yes, the elders left, preparing to mobilize. The first elder's eyes were deep in thought. What is the Jun family trying to do, making such a big fuss? Do they really want to start the decisive battle ahead of time and bring the war between the 2 realms to an end? The first elder didn't believe that they were trying to stop the disaster. No matter how strong the Jun family was, it was impossible for them to kill their way into the Avacania lands. Those ultimate emperor clans in the Avacania lands were not incompetent. The first elder of the Immortal Academy really couldn't figure out the Jun family's intentions. After that, the entire 9 Heavens Immortal Academy was mobilized. Ling Yin, Gu Tizi, Feather King, Long Yao, Ji Qingyi, Princess Longji, Yin Rumeng, Yu Chanwan, and the others were all preparing to set off. There were also some new seedlings who were going to set off. In addition, Jiang Luoli was going to set off as well. Some time ago, Jiang Luoli also ended her solo training and joined the 9 Heavens Immortal Academy. Now, her strength was no longer the same as before. Her physique had evolved from the Yuan Spirit Tao body to the Yuan Spirit Immortal body. She even obtained the broken Yuan Spirit world. Her strength could be ranked among the top of the younger generation. However, compared to before, the current Jiang Luoli was much quieter. She also rarely smiled. This was because she learned that Jun Xiaoyao had fallen in the world of divine ruins. Although she didn't believe in her heart, waiting was always torturous. Her original lively and playful personality had become much more reserved. The 9 Heavens Immortal Academy wasn't the only one who received this news. The Supreme Xian Ting, the Archean royalty, the Underworld King bloodline, the Ancient Orchid sect, the Western Paradise sect, and the various remote antiquity families all received this news. In the beginning, because there was no leader, no immortal forces dared to charge at the front and take the lead. Even the Xian Ting temporarily chose not to make a move. But now, the Jun family suddenly took the lead, and even the emperor-level figure of the hidden bloodline appeared. With the Jun family at the front, the other immortal forces were naturally willing to follow. Perhaps they could even get a share of the pie. Therefore, they all agreed to mobilize. It seemed that the final battle of the 2 worlds was about to arrive, and the commotion on the immortal realms side obviously couldn't be hidden from the other side. In the Avacania lands, the various ultimate emperor clans all received the news. On the Moshi clan side, Jun Xiaoyao also received the news from Mo Holuo. The family also took action. Could it be Jun Xiaoyao was thinking in his heart and thought of a certain possibility? A bright light flashed in his eyes. Soon, he called Mo Holuo. "Sir, what's the matter?" Mo Holuo said respectfully. "It's time. Prepare to go to the skyless dark world." Jun Xiaoyao waved his sleeve and ordered, his gaze sharp like a sword. Yes, this subordinate obeys. Mo Holuo revealed an extremely excited expression. The door to the skyless dark world was finally about to open. Chapter 1083. Immortal Domains, Jun family's power was extremely great. Pulling one together would move the entire body. As the Jun family took action, Xian Ting and the other great powers also took action. The mighty group of experts headed for the border. These movements were naturally long known by the foreign great emperor clans. In an instant, the foreign immortal emperor clans also began to move. Infernal Emperor Clan, Magi Emperor Clan, Anlin Emperor Clan, Jimun Clan, Hodo Clan, Blood Demon Clan. The top king clans, 100 great king clans, and others all began to move. The creatures of both worlds were a bit nervous, knowing that a true great storm was about to arrive. At the same time, the ultimate emperor clans in unspeakable lands clearly also moved. Within Demon Dawn Clan, just as Jun Xiaoyao and the others were preparing to set out for Skyless Dark Realm. Within a dark palace in the depths of Demon Dawn Clan, many powerful divine wills were communicating. Among them, the weakest were half undying. There were even true undying existences. Could it be that Immortal Domain is really going to launch an all-out attack? This is nothing more than a deathbed struggle. This time, let us Ultimate Emperor Clan Kings take action. That's right. Even though the ancestors are all in a state of slumber, as long as the Great Calamity wakes up, the ancestors will also wake up and bring disaster to Immortal Domain. Since that's the case, then let's go meet those Immortal Domain Great Emperors and see just how strong they are. The ones who spoke were all Demon Dawn Clan's most powerful experts. Even though their voices were arrogant, they indeed had the ability to do so. After all, the Ultimate Emperor Clans had watched the eras change, the rise and fall of tens of thousands of years. Their foundations were unimaginably deep. There was nothing that could threaten their existence. Even if heaven and earth withered, all things withered away, they could still exist in the darkness of eternity. This was the source of their confidence. However, there were also undying existences who maintained a cautious attitude. It's still better to be a bit more cautious. I keep feeling that Immortal Domain's June family's actions this time seem to be plotting something. That's right. Another undying existence spoke up. If it was Xian Ting leading this time, then I wouldn't be afraid. They were defeated by us before, split into 9 great immortal inheritances. But the June family is different. Don't forget what happened before. Shoo, keep quiet, an undying said coldly. This was a past buried in history that no one was willing to uncover. All right, let's not talk about things that have already become history. What is the June family plotting this time? Are they plotting against the kings of the ultimate great imperial clans? Make some preparations, and then head to the desolate border. After that, wait for the calamity to descend. The dark palace fell silent. The aura within disappeared. It wasn't just the Demon Dawn clan. The other ultimate emperor clans in the Avacania lands also had powerful auras vanish from their ancestral lands. They tore through the void, heading towards desolate border, wishing to carry out a shocking confrontation with Immortal Domain. On this side, Jun Xiaoyao and the others had already left the Demon Dawn clan. Jun Xiaoyao sensed something and turned around. He could sense that many powerful auras within the Demon Dawn clan had vanished. As expected, a thoughtful look flashed across Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. Then, he looked at Imo Holuo and said, Imo Holuo, you should know the exact location. You should take the lead. Yes. Imo Holuo cupped his hands, unable to hide his excitement. The younger generation of the ultimate great imperial clans had been influenced since they were young, and they worshipped the ultimate calamity. Now that they might be able to see the true calamity, he naturally couldn't suppress his excitement. Jun Xiaoyao and the others continued to go deeper into the Avacania lands. The entire Avacania lands was extremely large. It was much larger than a state in the foreign realm. Even Jun Xiaoyao and the others were almost at the Supreme Being level. It was also very difficult to cross it, because the deeper they went into the Avacania lands, the stronger the laws of heaven and earth. Towards the end, it was difficult for others to break through space with their Supreme Being level cultivation. Only Jun Xiaoyao still had the ability to break through space. The reason was simple. He had the Book of Space. With his ultimate control of the Tao of Space, even in the depths of the Avacania lands, Jun Xiaoyao could still come and go as he pleased. Of course, he didn't manifest it. There was nothing wrong with hiding it. Moreover, if he manifested it, the others wouldn't be able to keep up with him. After about 10 days, Jun Xiaoyao and the others finally arrived at the depths of the Avacania lands. In front of them was a dark land, like an eternal night. But it wasn't without any light. It was just very dim, surrounded by grayish-black fog all year round. On the ground, there were small puddles of black water. Jun Xiaoyao carefully sensed it. He found that it was actually a gathering of dense dark matter. From this, it could be seen how dense the dark matter was in this dark land. This is the skyless dark world? Jun Xiaoyao looked at Mohuruo. That's right. Mohuruo nodded slightly. Where's the gate? Where's the gate? Kagura asked curiously. Didn't they say that the 6 kings together could open the gate to the skyless dark world? But now there was no gate. You go over and give it a try. Mohuruo smiled slightly. Kagura looked at Mohuruo suspiciously. You're not using me to test the water, are you? Don't worry. Although I haven't been in, there won't be any fatal danger here. Moreover, without you, we can't enter the skyless dark world. Mohuruo smiled. Kagura hesitated for a moment, raised her jade foot, and stepped into the dark land ahead. Whoosh, but in an instant, Kagura's figure appeared in the same place again, as if she hadn't moved at all. Kagura was a little confused. The skyless dark world has ancient rules. Without permission, almost no one can enter it. Mohuruo smiled. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. Mohuruo used the word almost. That meant that there were still people who could enter it. For example, the demon-masked woman. Okay, don't talk nonsense. Let's get started, Kagura said. Everyone took out their apocalyptic forbidden artifacts. God's weeping war halberd, demon's sword heaven's weep, Mahakala mirror, 10,000 demons tower, torch dragon lantern, 10-tailed heaven annihilation plate. 6 apocalyptic forbidden artifacts appeared at the same time. Then, the dark hexagram mark on Jun Xiaoyao and the others released a faint light again. 6 faint black beams of light shot into the sky, as thick as pillars supporting the sky. The dense black light gathered and turned into a giant dark hexagram mark. Almost the entire Avacania lands, and even the 10 foreign states, could see it clearly. Then, the 6 apocalyptic forbidden artifacts landed on the 6 corners of the dark hexagram. It was as if 6 keys had landed on 6 keyholes. In an instant, black fog surged in the dark land ahead. The sky changed color, and ghosts wailed and wolves howled, as if the door to hell had opened. Endless black fog surged out from it, and the scene inside also changed. There were all kinds of stars falling, the universe drying up, time and space breaking, and terrifying illusions of the destruction of all worlds emerging from it. The pressure that surged in an instant directly pressed Mohuruo, Zhu Yi, and Yun Xiaohei to the ground. As for Kagura and Su Hongyi, they wisely hid on Jun Xiaoyao's body. Jun Xiaoyao's white clothes fluttered in the wind. The pressure was so strong that even his chaotic physique was under great pressure, and his bones were cracking. The door to the skyless dark realm is finally open. Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. At the same time, deep in the Ares Academy, in the underground paradise, all of a sudden, a great fog surged up from that misty place. The figure that had been sitting cross-legged finally stood up slowly. It's about time. Sir, are we going directly to the skyless dark realm? Shanao of Beach asked. No, before that, there is one more thing to do, the voice said. What is it? Shanao of Beach was confused. Kill Qi Shao. Chapter 1084. The Great Barbarian State. It was a red desert that stretched for thousands of miles. This place was the ancestral land of the Scarlet Owl race, a quasi-emperor race whose name shook the foreign lands recently. The Crimson Owl clan was not considered too famous in the first place. It was also not considered especially outstanding among the top 10 royal clans. However, it was because his clan's old ancestor, Scarlet Owl King, forcefully corroborated the Tao, becoming an undying king. All of a sudden, their entire clan ascended and became a quasi-emperor clan. Afterwards, the Scarlet Owl King even fought against the immortal domain Jun family's white-clothed divine king in the desolate lands. This battle could be said to be the battle that made the Crimson Owl King famous. After all, The battle prowess of the white-robed divine king of the June family was obvious to all. Later on, there were even clansmen of the Scarlet Owl clan who spread the news. The white-clothed divine king of the June family had gone missing because he had been severely injured by the Scarlet Owl king. This was undoubtedly a form of propaganda. It allowed the Crimson Owl king and the entire Crimson Owl clan's reputation to rise another level. And now, in the depths of the Scarlet Owl clan's ancestral land, at the peak of a blazing mountain, a red-robed old man with red eyebrows was sitting cross-legged in the void. There was a pair of crimson wings on his back that were branded with countless ancient runes. A sea of fire rose and fell around him, and endless fire runes appeared. Behind him, there seemed to be countless living beings rising and falling in the sea of hellfire. This was practically the ultimate evolution of the Tao of Fire. The old man sat cross-legged in the center of heaven and earth. He was like the ancestor of all flames, capable of incinerating the heavens of the universe. This red-browed old man was an undying of the Scarlet Owl clan, Scarlet Owl King. At this moment, beneath the Crimson Owl throne, there was a handsome man in pure gold armor, listening to the Tao voice and comprehending the great Tao of Fire. If Jun Xiaoyao was here, he would definitely recognize this person. It was Qi Hongyu. He was also the last disciple of the Scarlet Owl King. Previously, at the Tushan matchmaking event, Qi Hongyu had suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of Jun Xiaoyao. Even his soul book had been snatched away. It could be said that he was the representative of the word tragic. Has the door finally opened? In the void, the Crimson Owl King was like a great sun, the light of blazing flames illuminating the vast expanse. At a certain moment, he suddenly opened his eyes. They were like two small suns as he stared into the distance. The black hexagram mark was reflected in the sky above the Avicania lands. It's him, Yu Xiaoyao. Qi Hongyu, who was below, also sensed something. His face instantly turned grave. What happened at the matchmaking convention was like a nightmare that he could not wake up from. Jun Xiaoyao had become his inner demon, and now the gap between him and Jun Xiaoyao was getting bigger and bigger. One was the Dark Devil Monarch. One was a loser who had lost the halo of a prodigy and was ridiculed by everyone. Hongyu, your heart isn't calm, the Scarlet Owl King said coolly. I'm sorry, Master. I'm just thinking about that Yu Xiaoyao, and I can't calm down. Now, there's even news that he's the Dark Devil Monarch. Qi Hongyu's expression was ferocious. That junior has a special status now, so it's inconvenient to touch him. But later, you have to personally retrieve the soul book. The Crimson Owl King's tone was still indifferent. Although the soul book was precious, he couldn't drop his status and go get it himself. Of course, he was also wary of the Shanao of Beach and the others behind Jun Xiaoyao. Master, can I still catch up to you, Xiaoyao? Qi Hongyu's face was ashen, and his inner demon was very strong. The Scarlet Owl King frowned slightly and said, Hongyu, this is just a small obstacle on the path to becoming a supreme powerhouse. When you become a supreme powerhouse like me, you'll realize that your opponents in the past are no longer in your eyes. Qi Hongyu's eyes lit up. He said with admiration, Indeed, I'm ashamed. I'm not like you, Master. You proved your Tao with great power, and you can easily injure the Divine King of the Jun family in the Immortal Region. Qi Hongyu's eyes were filled with admiration as he said that. His master, the Scarlet Owl King, was his belief. Although Qi Hongyu had developed an inner demon in his heart, as long as he had the belief of the Scarlet Owl King, he was still confident. That's right. If I can prove my Tao, I'll increase the chances of conquering the Immortal Region. The Scarlet Owl King accepted Qi Hongyu's compliments and admiration. Master, can you tell me more about the battle with the Divine King of the Jun family? I want to understand, worship, and comprehend the true essence of being a powerhouse. Qi Hongyu's eyes were filled with admiration. There's no need for that. A powerhouse won't be obsessed with past achievements. The battle with Jun Wuhui was just a boring battle. The Scarlet Owl King shook his head slightly. His tone was indifferent, showing the supreme grace of an immortal king. It could be said that he was acting cool to the max. Master, you're so mighty. Shi Hongyu's eyes were filled with fanatical admiration. However, at this moment, the Scarlet Owl King suddenly felt something and looked at the void in front of him. He could vaguely feel an extremely majestic force breaking through the space and descending on this area. Rumble. Heaven and earth resonated. The endless void cracked open, and a powerful pressure poured down. In the ancestral land of the Scarlet Owl clan, a huge earthquake occurred, and the earth cracked. Oh my God, what's going on? Is some big shot here? Don't worry, our ancestor is here. What's there to be afraid of? Many members of the Scarlet Owl clan were alarmed. There were even a few quasi-immortal level beings who were awakened from their cultivation. Their eyes were filled with anger. How dare you come to our Scarlet Owl clan to be so presumptuous? Aren't you afraid that our king will punish you? Some quasi-immortal level being shouted. At this moment, the sky suddenly darkened. Everyone raised their heads and was shocked to find a huge figure blocking out the sunlight. That figure was like a moving continent. Even the sky was covered by it. That's a turtle? Some members of the Scarlet Owl clan were stunned. No, it looks like a dragon head, someone else said. At this moment, the Scarlet Owl King's voice was heard. I was wondering who it was. So it's the Shanao of Beach from the Ares Academy. Why did you come to our clan in such a big way? What? It's the Shanao of Beach from the Ares Academy? Hearing the Scarlet Owl King's voice, many members of the Scarlet Owl clan were shocked. The divine turtle was a primordial mutant with the shape of a turtle and the body of a dragon. In the ancient legends, when the sky collapsed, Nuwa cut off the legs of the divine turtle and set the four extremes. This was referring to primordial mutants like the divine turtle. The Scarlet Owl King's words did not make the Shanao of Beach move at all. Instead, another voice sounded. No reason. I'm just here to take your life. This voice was like thousands of sharp swords, blooming with sharpness and resounding through the void. Golden spears and armor horses. Heaven and earth were suddenly filled with a majestic battle intent, as if it was going to tear the world apart. And the members of the Scarlet Owl clan who heard this were all stunned. They were so shocked that their scalps went numb. Did they hear wrongly? Someone actually said that they wanted to take the Scarlet Owl King's life. Under countless shocked gazes, a slender figure in white slowly stepped out from the divine turtle's head. His face was blurry, and immortal light filled the air. There were also the sounds of people praying and God chanting. Behind that white-clothed figure, there seemed to be 3,000 god kingdoms, and he was like the king of gods, his aura suppressing the heavens for all eternity, like a deity who created the heavens. How is this possible? It's you. The Scarlet Owl King's pupils suddenly constricted. A sea of fire overturned, engulfing the heavens. He could not control his aura. That figure appeared in the radiance, perfectly straight and slender, like a backbone that supported the heavens. A corner of white clothes fluttered. It was the nightmare of countless foreign creatures. June Family, June Wuhui, Chapter 1085. The awe-inspiring voice resounded through the vast expanse. The three words June Wuhui were like thunder, exploding in the ears of all Scarlet Owl Clan creatures. Pucci. Most of the Scarlet Owl Clan creatures immediately spat out blood, collapsing onto the ground. They actually couldn't withstand that awe-inspiring voice. Within the endless divine radiance, Jun Wuhui's figure appeared. White clothes purer than snow, handsome like jade. His eyes were like the sun and moon, seeing through the boundless world. There was endless vicissitudes within, as if he had experienced 10,000 battles. 3,000 divine kingdoms surrounded his body, chanting Sanskrit songs. This was the special phenomenon and ability of the divine king physique the Jin dynasty worshipped, respected by the world. The invincible Jun family divine king finally revealed his true body. Deathly silence. An unprecedented deathly silence. Countless Scarlet Owl Clan creatures felt their throats being choked, unable to breathe. Jun Wuhui. This was definitely the most famous immortal domain supreme expert in the foreign realm. After all, Jun Wuhui was one of the three pure ones, overseeing the foreign realm's desolate border all year round. No one didn't know him. A magnificent army avoided a white robe. This wasn't just a description. It was also precisely because of Jun Wuhui's reputation. Only then could Scarlet Owl King become a deity in that battle. But now, Jun Wuhui actually appeared openly in the Scarlet Owl clan's ancestral land. This was inconceivable. How many immortal domain figures could act so openly in the foreign realm? Even immortal domain's great emperors wouldn't casually enter the foreign realm, fearing that they would be surrounded and killed. But Jun Wuhui appeared just like that, surprising everyone. However, when they thought of Scarlet Owl King's battle accomplishments, many Scarlet Owl Clan creatures' hearts calmed down. So what if it was Jun Wuhui? Didn't he still lose to their old ancestor? A quasi-undying from the Scarlet Owl Clan looked at Jun Wuhui, saying coldly, "Jun Wuhui, did you come to seek revenge? Then you're wrong, with my clan's old ancestor here. How dare you act so impudently?" This quasi-undying berated. Jun Wuhui's expression didn't change in the slightest. His eyes, which were as cold as the sun and moon, were deep and boundless, without any extra emotions. Just like the king of gods, he would not be affected by the clamor of ants. In the next moment, Jun Wuhui stretched out his hand. Endless divine power precepts shrouded and transformed into a giant hand. In that 1/10,000th of an instant, he caught hold of that quasi-undying. Then pinch him to death. Drops of quasi-immortal blood fell to the ground, creating deep craters. The hearts of all the Scarlet Owl Clan living beings seemed to have been frozen, stopping beating. One move. It was only one move. In the eyes of the world, he was a high and mighty quasi-undying. He was crushed to death like an ant. What kind of supreme power was this? Damn it, Jun Wuhui! The Scarlet Owl King was enraged. Heaven and earth burned with raging flames. Even he could not react in time. Jun Wuhui had acted so decisively, leaving no time for others to react. On the back of Shanao of Beach, a small green bird appeared. Perhaps no one would have thought that it was the quasi-immortal of Ares Academy, Fufeng of Gojoseon. At this moment, Fufeng of Gojoseon looked at the quasi-immortal of the Scarlet Owl Clan, who was crushed into blood and bones. Cold sweat broke out on its back. It hurriedly used its little wings to wipe the non-existent sweat on its head. It began to feel lucky that it admitted defeat. How is this possible? Shi Hongyu's pupils shrank when he saw this scene, and his scalp was about to explode. A quasi-immortal was killed in seconds just like that. Shi Hongyu's Tao heart was trembling. The impact on him was too great. However, Shi Hongyu looked at Jun Wuhui, and he had an inexplicable feeling. There seemed to be a vague sense of familiarity, as if he had seen him somewhere before. However, Shi Hongyu shook his head after a second thought. He looked at the Scarlet Owl King with infinite confidence in his eyes. Although Jun Wuhui's strength was terrifying, with his master, the Scarlet Owl King, there was no problem. Jun Wuhui? He was just a loser. Shi Hongyu was not the only one who thought so. The other living beings of the Scarlet Owl Clan thought so too. Ancestor, please kill Jun Wuhui. That's right. Avenge our quasi-immortal. Ancestor, please do it. Many living beings of the Scarlet Owl Clan were screaming. The Scarlet Owl King was their last support. However, the Scarlet Owl King's fiery red eyebrows were tightly knitted. After a while, he finally opened his mouth. Jun Wuhui, you took advantage of the situation and killed our quasi-immortal. This is not considered a big wave. However, if you take another step forward, the world will be turned upside down. The Scarlet Owl King's words were sharp, and he seemed extremely domineering. However, if one thought about it carefully, one would realize. The Scarlet Owl King did not want to attack. Instead, he wanted Jun Wuhui to take the initiative to retreat. Master, Shi Hongyu's expression changed slightly. If the Scarlet Owl King said that, wouldn't that quasi-immortal die in vain? When Jun Wuhui heard that, he looked at the Scarlet Owl King and said indifferently, Scarlet Owl King, looks like the battle of the desolate border gave you an illusion that you have the strength to contend with me. However, in my eyes, you're inferior to a bug. To see an immortal king as a bug. Just ask who else. Impudent. A king cannot be humiliated. The Scarlet Owl King's eyes spewed flames, his anger surging to the sky. Heaven and earth changed color. He also did not hold back anymore and attacked directly. The mighty fire rule appeared, burning the sky. The temperature between heaven and earth rose sharply. Heaven and earth were burned down. The scene was shocking. The other living beings of the Scarlet Owl clan hurriedly hid in the ancestral land and raised the clan protection formation. Otherwise, just the aftermath was enough to kill all living beings. Myriad Dao, Fire Lotus. The Scarlet Owl King raised his hand. Myriad flames gathered, transforming into a colorful fire lotus. This was the ultimate move that the Scarlet Owl King cultivated from collecting myriad flames. Once the fire lotus appeared, the vast ocean would evaporate instantly. Facing Jun Wuhui, the Scarlet Owl King did not dare to hold back in the slightest. Feeling that destructive undulation emitted, the Shanao of Beach directly made a move. The immortal rule manifested, condensing into a tortoise-shell-like light screen, directly enveloping the entire Scarlet Owl clan's ancestral land, preventing the aftermath of the battle from leaking out. What is the Shanao of Beach doing? The quasi-immortal of the Scarlet Owl clan frowned, faintly having an ominous premonition. Facing the Scarlet Owl King's powerful move, Jun Wuhui's expression was indifferent, only his white clothes and black hair fluttering. He casually pinched and pressed forward, a large seal collapsing the void in front. That large seal was suffused with a vast divine radiance, as if the seal of a deity fell from the 9 heavens. The surrounding firmament of thousands of miles was collapsing. Tens of thousands of divine chains of order were instantly destroyed. Divine King Fallen Immortal Seal. This was also an extremely terrifying ultimate move. Rumble. The Godly King Fallen Immortal Seal and a Myriad Dao Fire Lotus collided, as if 2 universes collided, bursting forth shocking waves. Heaven and earth seemed to have turned upside down. The universe poured down, and countless galaxies outside the sky were shaken down. The Milky Way falling 9 heavens. This was a true battle between the strongest. If this battle continued, a star field would be easily destroyed. If it were not for the Shanao of Beach and the Scarlet Owl clan's protective formation blocking, this area would be instantly destroyed. And at this moment, everyone's eyes were fixed on the center of the collision. Inside, it was as if countless universes were being born and destroyed. The power of destruction was so strong that it was impossible to look directly at it. Humph! In the void, a muffled groan suddenly sounded. One of the figures was repelled. When they saw that figure clearly, all the Scarlet Owl clan beings stopped breathing. Grand Elder. Chapter 1086. All of the Scarlet Owl clan members' hearts instantly twitched, their faces turning stiff to the extreme. Their clan's invincible old ancestor, the Scarlet Owl King, was repelled? This was unimaginable, their minds about to break, hard to think. Master? Shi Hongyu's complexion instantly turned deathly pale, every drop of blood in his body seemingly about to freeze. In the desolate border battle, wasn't it the Scarlet Owl King suppressing Jun Wuhui? Just now, the Scarlet Owl King even said that battle was a boring crushing. But now, the one who was repelled was actually the Scarlet Owl King. What on earth was going on? Damn it, Jun Wuhui, you clearly haven't taken that step yet. How can you possibly be my match? The Scarlet Owl King was roaring fiercely. Originally, reaching his realm, emotions could be easily controlled. But now, the Scarlet Owl King lost composure. He was repelled in front of all of his clansmen. This kind of invisible humiliation made him even more shocked and furious. Facing the Scarlet Owl King's questioning, Jun Wuhui's expression was calm and collected. Realm is meaningless to me. Killing you is nothing difficult. Jun Wuhui took a step forward. The space millions of feet under his feet seemed to instantly shrink to a point. He instantly swept in front of the Scarlet Owl King, raising his palm and smacking it out. Vast divine energy surged, immortal divine splendor blossoming, as if the myriad worlds were illuminated by this divine splendor. Feel free to come and give a try. I, Scarlet Owl, corroborated my Tao in this era, seizing a generation's destiny. Who can suppress me, and who can defeat me? The Scarlet Owl King shouted fiercely, his voice shaking the world. At the same time, he brought out his emperor weapon, a Scarlet King furnace. The Scarlet King furnace was incomparably hot, divine flames coiling around its entire body, like the core of a sun. This was the exclusive emperor weapon that the Scarlet Owl King expended painstaking effort to refine, even though he did not refine great emperors and immortal kings before. He had refined quasi-emperors and quasi-immortal kings before, but he had refined quasi-emperors and quasi-immortal kings before. The Scarlet King furnace was brought out, monstrous divine flames gushing out from the furnace opening. A sea of fire overturned all directions. The void burned until it distorted and collapsed. All tangible matter was burning. Light appeared on the surface of Jun Wuhui's body, ancient characters appearing one after another, carrying a transcendent divinity. Those were divine characters, divine characters. Jun Wuhui activated the ultimate defensive move of his God King physique. The blessings of the gods. The immortal radiance formed by the many divine characters seemed to have separated eternity, even if the sea of fire was overturned and annihilated in all directions. Jun Wuhui was also standing tall in the sky, unaffected by any of it. Divine King physique. The corners of the Scarlet Owl King's eyes twitched slightly. This was also a heaven-defying physique. It was said that when one cultivated it to the end, one could become a true deity, eternal and indestructible. Jun Wuhui's technique was untouchable by any technique. He instantly flashed in front of the Scarlet Owl King. His fist imprint blasted out, directly collapsing everything in front of him. The Scarlet Owl King used the Scarlet King furnace to block. A clang was heard. Jun Wuhui's fists collided with the monarch weapon, and the sound of metal clashing could be heard. The sound dispersed the layers of clouds in the sky, and the endless sandstorm was swept away. Following this, Jun Wuhui and the Crimson Owl King unfolded a world-shocking great battle. The essence of heaven and earth boiled, and the mighty principles rose and fell like a vast ocean. A battle of this level was definitely rare. It was as if the world was going to be destroyed. Patriarch, the living beings of the Scarlet Owl clan were all trembling, and they were nervous. Originally, they thought that the battle should be one-sided. Who would have thought that it would turn out like this? Could it be that Master is bragging? When Shi Hongyu thought of this, his face immediately turned incomparably pale. His mind was already cracked because of Jun Xiaoyao in the first place. The Scarlet Owl King was his only faith. Now, if his faith collapsed, Shi Hongyu's Tao heart would definitely be shattered. No, I don't believe it. Master is invincible. Shi Hongyu clenched his fists and roared in his heart. Above the universe, the wind and clouds changed color. Void cracks that were like abysses appeared one after another, as if they were reflecting the other worlds. This was extremely terrifying. It meant that the laws of this world were somewhat unstable. This showed how terrifying a true monarch battle was. Boom! Another earth-shattering collision. The Scarlet Owl King was blasted back again, and blood appeared at the corner of his mouth. Patriarch is injured. Some of the living beings of the Scarlet Owl clan were stunned and in disbelief. Jun Wuhui, you can't kill me. If you continue to drag this out, you won't be able to escape death. The Scarlet Owl King wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and his eyes were extremely sinister. As he breathed in and out, the injuries in his body began to heal rapidly. This was the strength of an immortal king. It was possible to suppress or even defeat him. However, to kill him would definitely be several times more difficult. I'm a man of my word. If I say I'll kill you, I'll kill you. As soon as Jun Wuhui's voice fell, he stomped his foot. Rumble. Behind him, 3,000 divine kingdoms lined up, forming a vast domain that covered the entire ancestral land of the Scarlet Owl clan. It was as if there were 3,000 gods sitting cross-legged in the void, chanting. As for Jun Wuhui, he stood in the middle of the 3,000 gods, and his eyes were filled with disdain. He was the only one who was supreme. A powerful aura that could overwhelm the heavens and earth appeared. Who could compete with a peerless God King? God Legion Paradise. When Jun Wuhui raised his hand, it was as if the power of 3,000 gods was augmented. Endless divine light gathered, turning into an eternal radiance that illuminated the universe. This was the God King Physique's taboo great art, ultimate phenomenon. Boom! The Scarlet Owl King was suppressed in an instant, as if 100,000 universes were pressing down on his shoulders. All of his aura, cultivation base, and strength were suppressed. I'm the king of the current era. Who can press down on my shoulders? One had to admit that the Scarlet Owl King was worthy of being an immortal king. He was also sufficiently powerful. He was furious. Endless flames spread out, as if wanting to turn the world into scorched earth. All life of the three realms, Buddha's hell of fire. The Scarlet Owl King manifested the Scarlet Owl clan's ultimate art. The entire heaven and earth turned scarlet red. The entire mortal realm seemed to be burning up. All living beings could not escape the torment of being burned. This kind of taboo great art was powerful to the extreme. Furthermore, it was an area of effect, divine ability. Heaven and earth that the Scarlet Owl King's magic power reached were all enveloped within. Even a quasi-immortal could only be imprisoned within, hopelessly reduced to ashes. My clan's ancestor is invincible. Inside the clan protecting Grand Array, the Scarlet Owl clan's living beings were shouting loudly. However, facing this move, Jun Wuhui's expression was very indifferent. He who had experienced countless battles. What bizarre and terrifying move had he not seen before? Jun Wuhui slowly raised his hand, as if the authority of the gods was grasped in his hand. The current Jun Wuhui was like the king of the gods who controlled heaven's secrets, operating the creation of life and death, and was about to send down tribulation punishment. Dusk of the gods. Jun Wuhui deployed the taboo great art. Instantly, heaven and earth were dusky yellow, with the setting sun shining. The 3,000 gods all seemed to be burning their divine power. Boundless dusk light shone on the Scarlet Owl King's body. The Scarlet Owl King instantly sensed the smell of death. Retreat. Without the slightest hesitation, the Scarlet Owl King flapped his wings, wanting to escape. As for his clansmen or whatnot, it did not matter. He painstakingly corroborated his Tao in the present era. How could he be willing to perish like this? Can you escape? Jun Wuhui said indifferently. The domain of the God Legion Paradise imprisoned the four extremes of heaven and earth, and even the void was imprisoned. It was impossible to break through. Damn it! How can this king perish here? Shanao of Beach, what is your position? The Scarlet Owl King urged the immortal law in his body and the Scarlet King Furnace to resist the power of Jun Wuhui's ultimate move. He shouted to the Shanao of Beach. As the king of the foreign war god Collegium, the Shanao of Beach logically should be on his side. Now, he was mixed up with Jun Wuhui, which was puzzling. The Scarlet Owl King hoped that the Shanao of Beach could change his mind and help him escape. However, the Shanao of Beach's main body spoke in human language and said coldly, "From the beginning to the end, this king has always been a member of the Jun family." What? The Scarlet Owl King was stunned. The Shanao of Beach was a member of the Jun family? What was going on? If he was a spy, then it had been too long, spanning across many epochs. And what was the cause and effect of this? It's over, Jun Wuhui said. The eternal dusk descended, like the final song that buried the immortal king. In the light of the dusk, the Scarlet Owl King's physical body began to disintegrate, and the great Tao law that was released poured out in all directions. The Tao that had been proven dissipated in the end, returning to heaven and earth. Even the primordial spirit could not escape the end of the dusk. Even the Tao proving weapon, the Scarlet King Furnace, disintegrated, and countless fragments flew in all directions. All the living beings in the ancestral land of the Scarlet Owl clan were stunned. The quasi-immortal level Scarlet Owl's minds buzzed, and they lost their souls. As for Chi Hong Yu, his mind was buzzing, and his face was pale. His body was like a piece of wood, and his heart was like dead ashes. The faith in his heart had collapsed. Facing these living beings of the Scarlet Owl clan, Jun Wuhui's expression was still indifferent. Being merciful to you is being cruel to all living beings in the celestial realm. Jun Wuhui had the heart to protect the world, but it was only limited to all living beings in the celestial realm. Jun Wuhui would never be soft-hearted to his enemies. The dusk of the gods shone on the ancestral land of the Scarlet Owl clan. The living beings of the Scarlet Owl clan, including the quasi-immortal level ones, were being destroyed and turned into ashes. They had no power to resist at all. As for Chi Hong Yu, his body was also disintegrating, turning into ashes inch by inch. His heart was already dead. However, unintentionally, Chi Hong Yu raised his head again and looked at the white-robed divine king of the Jun family standing in the sky with boundless power. For a moment, an electric current flashed through his mind. Then, his pupils began to tremble. His body also began to tremble. Jun Wuhui, Yu Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao. Chi Hong Yu understood. He completely understood. The person who killed his younger brother was once right in front of him. Even the entire foreign realm was being toyed with in the palm of his hand. Chi Hong Yu's heart was trembling, shivering, and chilling. It was not because of the might of Jun Wuhui's divine king in front of him. It was because of his only son, the son of God of the Jun family who was so intelligent that he deceived the entire foreign realm, Jun Xiaoyao. Now, Jun Xiaoyao was already the Dark Devil monarch, and he was even deeper into the foreign realm's greatest secret, the Dark Sky realm, connecting the causes and effects. Chi Hong Yu's heart turned cold. What kind of shocking situation was Jun Xiaoyao trying to create in the foreign realm? However, was there any meaning in discovering the secret now? An extremely bitter smile appeared on the corner of Chi Hong Yu's lips. Not only the Scarlet Owl clan, but Chi Hong Yu also felt that the entire foreign realm might be destroyed by this father and son pair. Unfortunately, Chi Hong Yu could no longer send out any news. Under the illumination of the dusk of the gods, Chi Hong Yu turned into ashes and scattered with the wind. The foreign realm's quasi-emperor clan, the Scarlet Owl clan, their entire clan was wiped out. Chapter 1087. Thousands of miles of wind and sand rustled. The ancestral land of the Scarlet Owl clan no longer existed. All the creatures of the Scarlet Owl clan, the clan guarding formation, and everything else, they were all annihilated under the illumination of the twilight of the gods. Not even a trace of blood was left behind. It was as if the Scarlet Owl clan had never existed in this place. The abyss-like spatial crack in the sky could not be closed for a long time. There were also deep pits on the ground where countless meteorites fell. This was the true battle of the strongest. Fortunately, the Shanao of Beach had sealed it off. Otherwise, there would have been a huge commotion in the entire great barbarian state. Jun Wuhui, on the other hand, stood with his hands behind his back and his white robe fluttering. Annihilating a quasi-emperor clan was definitely a great achievement. However, Jun Wuhui was still calm. There was not the slightest ripple in his eyes that were as deep as the sun and moon. He did not seek fame or benefits. He only wanted to protect the prosperous immortal region and pass on the Jun family's eternal flame. The student has surpassed the master. Your strength should be close to our benefactors. The Shanao of Beach spoke with a hint of respect in his tone. He was respectful to Jun Wuhui before only because Jun Wuhui was the divine king of the Jun family. When his benefactor saved him, the Shanao of Beach had already sworn that he would be loyal to the Jun family for the rest of his life. But now, after seeing Jun Wuhui's true strength, the Shanao of Beach respected Jun Wuhui from the bottom of his heart. Moreover, one should not forget that Jun Wuhui's one chi into 3 pure ones suppressed the 3 mysterious lands, the burial ground, and the realm sea. In other words, the current Jun Wuhui was only one of the 3 Pure One's doppelgangers. Although the one chi into 3 Pure Ones was very heaven-defying, the 3 doppelgangers were not inferior to the original body's strength and could each cultivate independently. However, it could also be seen that this was not Jun Wuhui's full strength. If the 3 Pure One's doppelgangers gathered and merged, how strong would Jun Wuhui be? That's not the case. My current strength is still a certain distance away from distant ancestor. But if the plan goes smoothly, I might be able to catch up. Jun Wuhui smiled faintly, his eyes deep. If not for the arrangement of the plan, he would have long killed that arrogant Scarlet Owl King in Desolate Border. Why would he need to put on an act? From beginning to end, the Crimson Owl King merely became a passive actor cooperating with Jun Wuhui. Hearing this, the Shanao of Beach sighed. The Jun family is really full of monsters. The benefactor who saved him first was the Jun family's emperor. Later on, an invincible white-clothed God King appeared. And now, there was the son of God, Jun Xiaoyao. That was right. It was because of Jun Wuhui's reminder that the Shanao of Beach knew the real identity of Jun Xiaoyao. Otherwise, he would not have taken such good care of Jun Xiaoyao. It was to the extent where even War God Academy's Dragon Vein was directly given to Jun Xiaoyao. Sir, shouldn't we leave? After all, this is the other side. There are still dangers. The Shanao of Beach said. Jun Wuhui shook his head slightly and said, "There's no need to worry. Right now, most of the other side's attention is on Desolate Border. The Ultimate Emperor clan's most powerful individual should have already headed to Desolate Border. The Skyless Dark Realm's Great Gate has already opened. This is the best opportunity." Jun Wuhui said. "But sir, if you enter the Skyless Dark Realm alone, what if there really is a disaster?" The Shanao of Beach wanted to say something, but then hesitated. As a Jun family spy who had been hiding in the other side for many great eras, the Shanao of Beach knew just how mysterious and terrifying the ultimate disaster was. Even though Jun Wuhui's strength was heaven-defying, even able to kill undying kings. However, the ultimate disaster was an unspeakable, unknowable, indescribable existence. Even undying kings had to bow down and offer sacrifices. Even Xiaoyao dares to enter. Then as his father, how could I be scared? If there is fear in my heart, then I am not worthy of being called Jun Wuhui. Jun Wuhui revealed a faint smile. Fear, this word. In the dictionaries of Jun Wuhui and Jun Xiaoyao, this pair of father and son, it didn't seem to exist. The Shanao of Beach was helpless. This pair of father and son really were anomalies between heaven and earth. Incomprehensible freaks. It could only carry Jun Wuhui into the Skyless Dark Realm. This was a dusky and lifeless region. Thick black mists curled about year-round. This place was an eternal night, incomparably dusky. One couldn't see the end of it. It was as if they arrived at the depths of the cosmos, a land of chaos. It was to the extent where there wasn't even the slightest bit of sound, nor were there any signs of life. Meanwhile, it was precisely in this type of lifeless strangeness. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps could be heard, breaking the silence of the ancient times. In the darkness in the distance, several figures appeared. It was Jun Xiaoyao's group of 6. After opening the door to the Skyless Dark Realm, they continued to go deeper. The Skyless Dark Realm's power of rules was stronger than the outside world. They couldn't break through the void, so they could only advance on foot in the most primitive way. Jun Xiaoyao was sizing up this mysterious place. Except for the 6 of them, there didn't seem to be any vitality. But in the depths of the Skyless Dark Realm, Jun Xiaoyao could feel a chilling aura. Everyone, be careful when you go deeper. Rumor has it that the Skyless Dark Realm is not only filled with chaotic space cracks, but also time cracks. If you accidentally step in, you may instantly age 10,000 years. Mohuruo warned everyone. As a creature of the Moshi clan, he knew more about the Skyless Dark Realm than anyone else. What so terrifying? A layer of goosebumps appeared on Kagura's snow-white skin. What women were most afraid of was undoubtedly aging. Although as a cultivator, they couldn't protect their appearance, but the baptism of time was unavoidable. "Don't worry, I'm here. I won't let anything happen to you," Jun Xiaoyao said. The last secret hadn't been solved yet. Before that, Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't let anything happen to them. Of course, after the secret was solved, it was hard to say. The first king's palace still cares about slaves. Kagura smiled. "We believe that Lord Monarch can lead us to rise." Mohuruo was also respectful. Only Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohei's expressions were unnatural. They had an ominous feeling in their hearts. They were afraid that Jun Xiaoyao would do something bad to them. Next, Jun Xiaoyao activated the majestic divine sense of the three lives primordial spirit. All kinds of strange places with murderous intent, space and time cracks, were avoided by them. At a certain moment, Jun Xiaoyao sensed a powerful aura fluctuation coming from ahead. "What's that?" The others also sensed it. Could it be? Mohuo seemed to have thought of something, and his face lit up with surprise. "The opportunity for the six kings is here." Mohuruo's words surprised everyone. Then they moved forward. In front of them was a giant lake surrounded by mist. The skeleton of an unknown creature fell into it. It hadn't been damaged after several eras, and it emitted a supreme, immortal aura. Jun Xiaoyao and the others stepped forward and took a closer look. He discovered that the lingering fog was not real fog, but fragments of broken laws. Not only that, even the lake water in the lake was made of broken law fragments, and it emitted an aura of the great Tao. Even the knowledgeable Jun Xiaoyao was surprised when he sensed the unimaginable majestic energy in it. This should be the Tao transforming lake. It's a supreme treasure land passed down from ancient times to the present. Mohuruo's voice trembled with excitement. Chapter 1088. Tao Transformation Lake. Jun Xiaoyao looked at the lake filled with law fragments, and his eyes flashed. Maluo continued. "Everyone should know that when an ultimate master dies, the laws and great Taos in his body will dissipate and return to heaven and earth. But the skyless dark world is the residence of the great calamity. It has its own world with its own rules and is not governed by the rules of heaven and earth outside. And the Tao Transformation Lake has always been recorded in ancient books. Every time an elite is about to die or is close to death, they will come to the Tao Transformation Lake to pass away. They will dissolve their energy in the lake. This is a kind of inheritance, and the treasure land formed will bless future generations." Maluo's eyes were red with desire, and his breathing became rapid. "But isn't the skyless dark world always in a closed state?" Shenluo asked. "Yes, but as I said before, the skyless dark world has its own rules, and it doesn't block all creatures. A long time ago, the calamity-level immortals of the ultimate emperor clans obtained many opportunities from the skyless dark world," Maluo said. This was the truth. Because the Moshi clan he belonged to was one of the ultimate emperor clans, he naturally knew some things. "I see." Shenlu understood. She also looked at the Tao Transformation Lake with some desire. The essence of many ancient and powerful beings was gathered in it, and there was probably no one who wouldn't covet it. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were very, very bright. He knew how difficult it was to get law fragments. Now, in his body, only the fruits produced by the celestial tree contained law fragments. Of course, the power of the world tree and other treasures could also replace law fragments. But in general, Jun Xiaoyao lacked cultivation resources, because he didn't just want to condense one law. He wanted to condense at least 9 to become an ultimate supreme. If he wanted to do it, he would do it to the extreme, although 1 or 2 laws could continue to break through. But after breaking through, his strength would be mediocre, just like the little heavenly master of the blue hurricane lily. Jun Xiaoyao could kill him when he was a supreme. The difference between an ordinary supreme and an ultimate supreme was like a chasm. This was not a quantitative change, but a qualitative change. The appearance of the Tao Transformation Lake was undoubtedly a boon for Jun Xiaoyao. "Give me a pillow when I'm sleepy." I reckon the other side would never have expected that their unmatched precious land would be used by me, someone from the immortal domain. Jun Xiaoyao sneered inwardly. Without hesitation, he was the first one to enter the Tao Transformation Lake. There were all sorts of skeletons in the lake, and they were all branded with profound runes of the great Tao. Even though he might have been dead for several eras, he still exuded a terrifying, immortal pressure. It's comfortable. Jun Xiaoyao heaved a sigh of relief when he sensed the power of law that was so dense that it seemed like it was about to overflow. This was simply an opportunity that was tailor-made for him. After seeing Jun Xiaoyao entering the Tao Transformation Lake, the remaining 5 exchanged glances with each other, but none of them dared to make a move. Imperceptibly, Jun Xiaoyao's authority had been placed first and deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. Without Jun Xiaoyao's permission, they didn't even dare to enter the Tao Transformation Lake directly. "Hongyi, come here," Jun Xiaoyao said. Su Hongyi was wholeheartedly loyal to him, so Jun Xiaoyao naturally wouldn't mistreat his own people. "Thank you, young master." Su Hongyi smiled sweetly at Jun Xiaoyao. She was incomparably cold to others, but she would only smile at Jun Xiaoyao. First King's Palace, Kagura cast an innocent look at Jun Xiaoyao, and her tone had a touch of coquettishness that made one's body and mind go numb. "You come too." Kagura's loyalty couldn't be compared to Su Hongyi's. However, she had also passed on a lot of information to Jun Xiaoyao. Although she wasn't completely devoted to him, at least she treated him with sincerity. The 2 women quickly sat on Jun Xiaoyao's side. The remaining 3 men were very awkward. In particular, Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohe were envious. The feeling of not being able to get a mountain of gold in front of them was too uncomfortable. "You also find a place to sit." Jun Xiaoyao glanced at Mohuruo. "Thank you, master." Mohuruo cupped his hands slightly and entered the Tao Transformation Lake. Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohe were left clenching their fists tightly. They had a grudge with Jun Xiaoyao. "Well, master, although they were going to lose all their face. Compared to improving their strength, losing face was nothing." On the side, Mohuruo hesitated for a moment and said, "Master, why don't we let them in too? After all, if 2 of the 6 kings are lacking in strength, it will be disadvantageous for the future development." Each of the 6 kings played an important role. "Then let them in." Although Jun Xiaoyao said so, the corners of his lips curled up. Letting them in was letting them in. But whether they could get energy was another matter. In terms of refining, Jun Xiaoyao had mastered the devouring law and the devouring god-demonic art. He had also killed the prince of the God-Eater clan and obtained the devouring great divine power of the God-Eater insect clan. Xin Yu, on the other hand, told Jun Xiaoyao about the devouring divine art that the mother of the red spider lily had taught her. The devouring law, the devouring god-demonic art, the devouring great divine power, and the devouring divine art. 4 types of devouring power gathered in one body. In terms of devouring power, if Jun Xiaoyao said he was second, no one would dare to say they were first. Then, the cultivation began. A huge black hole suddenly appeared above Jun Xiaoyao's head. It was like the entrance to the abyss of the universe, devouring and refining everything. This was the only black hole that Jun Xiaoyao had created by combining the devouring law, the devouring god-demonic art, the devouring great divine power, and the devouring divine art. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao seemed to have become the embodiment of heaven and earth, embracing everything and nothing. The entire giant Tao Transformation Lake instantly set off monstrous ripples. Countless runes of the law were branded. The scene was extremely shocking. "What the F***, CK? Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohe were dumbfounded. They could not hold back their emotions. Were they here to be bystanders? On the other side, Su Hongyi also began to cultivate and took out her trump card. A terrifying 8-armed demon god appeared, like a Buddha, half demon and half Buddha, mysterious and powerful. It was Mo Heitian that the Heitian clan could condense. Mo Heitian opened his mouth and took a deep breath. Endless power of the law flowed into Su Hongyi's body. Although its devouring and refining ability was not as good as Jun Xiaoyao's black hole, it was still extremely shocking. Even Kagura was shocked when she saw this. These two were too terrifying. They were simply robbing. She hurriedly sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. Mo Holuo, Zhu Yi, and Yun Xiaohe also quickly calmed their hearts and seized the opportunity. However, Jun Xiaoyao's training was simply too grand and extravagant. Except for Su Hongyi, everyone else was affected. Kagura was still all right, as Jun Xiaoyao had taken care of her in secret and didn't try to steal the fragments of laws in her area. However, Jun Xiaoyao was not going to be polite to the other three. It would belong to whoever could compete. As Jun Xiaoyao devoured, the law in his body was quickly condensing. The law fragments in the Tao melting lake were left behind by the immortals after their Tao melting. Therefore, they were very pure and powerful. As for the dark matter contained in them, with the heavenly black blood, it did not affect Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation at all. Soon, a new law was born in Jun Xiaoyao's body, with a mysterious and ethereal reincarnation will. The reincarnation immortal qi condensed into the reincarnation law. Jun Xiaoyao's body had an additional law aura. So fast. On the other side, Mo Holuo sensed the change in Jun Xiaoyao's aura and could not help but change his expression. However, when he remembered that Jun Xiaoyao was the Dark Devil Monarch, he felt relieved. The Dark Devil Monarch should be stronger than the World Destroyer Monarch. Not long after, another dark yellow law condensed in Jun Xiaoyao's body. The law of all creation qi. Jun Xiaoyao continued to cultivate. To Jun Xiaoyao, reaching the paramount stage with 9 laws was no longer his goal. What he wanted was to surpass the paramount stage. Chapter 1089. In terms of cultivation, Jun Xiaoyao had always liked to break the limit. From the very beginning, Jun Xiaoyao had been breaking the records of the ancients. Later, he condensed an unprecedented 13 strands of immortal energy, which was even more shocking. And now, Jun Xiaoyao was in the supremacy realm, and he was also ambitious. Reaching the supremacy realm with 9 laws was no longer his goal. Surpassing the supremacy realm was what he should do. With my monstrous talent and the system, if I can't walk a path that no one has ever walked before, I will never be satisfied. Jun Xiaoyao was determined in his heart and continued to devour the power in the Doubt Transformation Lake with the only black hole. A storm was set off in the Doubt Transformation Lake. The only black hole could devour all matter. It could even easily devour and refine the laws. And under Jun Xiaoyao's fierce devouring and refining, the laws in his body were also rapidly condensing. The void laws, the sin laws, the heavens laws, the laws that would have taken endless time to condense. But in this short period of time, they were condensed quickly. It was because the energy in the Doubt Transformation Lake was too majestic, and it was all the law energy left behind by the strongest immortal. It could be said that if others cultivated like this, they wouldn't be able to contain this energy at all, and their bodies would have exploded long ago. How would they have the extra strength to condense the laws? But Jun Xiaoyao's body could completely withstand it. Don't forget, he still had 3,000 Sumeru worlds to cultivate. The overflowing energy was directly absorbed into the cells to cultivate the Sumeru worlds. So Jun Xiaoyao didn't care about the endurance of his body at all. Instead, he cared about whether the Doubt Transformation Lake would be sucked dry. And compared to Jun Xiaoyao's crazy devouring, the others weren't so good. Su Hongyi and Kagura were fine and weren't affected much. The speed depended on their own refining ability. But Mo Holuo, Zhu Yi, and Yin Xiaohe were greatly affected and couldn't cultivate at all. If one were to say that Jun Xiaoyao was eating meat, then they weren't even drinking soup. They were just licking the few drops of spill meat juice. And what was even more unbearable was Zhu Yi and Yin Xiaohe couldn't say anything about Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao had already given them a wide berth by allowing them to enter the lake to cultivate. Even though they knew that Jun Xiaoyao might have done it on purpose, they didn't dare to show the slightest bit of dissatisfaction on the surface. Needless to say, this kind of grievance was unbearable. Jun Xiaoyao naturally did not care about their feelings. To put it bluntly, their names had already been recorded in Jun Xiaoyao's death notebook. Now, They were only able to live a moment longer because of Jun Xiaoyao's mercy. In the eternal silence of the skyless dark world, even the concept of time became blurry. No one knew how long they had been cultivating in the Dao Transformation Lake. Jun Xiaoyao's aura was getting stronger and stronger. In the end, all the pores on his body seemed to be gushing with the divine light of laws. Inside his body, the laws were incomparably resplendent, as if they were inscribed with the great Tao of heaven and earth. How many laws are there in his body? Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohe felt Jun Xiaoyao's terrifying aura, and their hearts skipped a beat. This Tao Transformation Lake was simply a seesaw for Jun Xiaoyao to take off. Boom! Finally, at a certain moment, Jun Xiaoyao's entire body was enveloped in divine light, and the radiance of the great Tao shone brightly. It illuminated this dark, vast expanse, as if it was the only light. His realm aura rose again, breaking through to the great perfection supremacy. He was only one step away from the heavenly venerable realm. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not choose to break through. Feeling the surging power in his body like a river, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were bright and resplendent. 10 laws. In his body, a total of 10 laws had condensed. Physical laws, soul laws, all things laws, reincarnation laws, void laws, sin laws, heavenly laws, devouring laws, great Tao laws, and life and death laws. Some of these laws were obtained by Jun Xiaoyao later, such as the soul laws. Some were obtained through the condensation of immortal qi. However, without exception, they were all extremely powerful. It could be said that as long as Jun Xiaoyao was willing, he could step into the heavenly venerable realm now. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not do so. The reason was simple. He could still condense more laws. However, the energy in his body seemed to have been saturated at the moment. To be able to condense so many laws in such a short period of time was already something that no one had ever done before. If word got out, it would shock everyone. 10 laws. I have already broken through to the supreme supremacy and reached a new realm. Perhaps I can be called the supreme anomaly? Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself in his heart. What was an anomaly? Something that should not exist in this world was called an anomaly. Condensing 9 laws was called the supreme supremacy, also known as the supreme supremacy. And breaking through the supreme supremacy of 9 was an anomaly. Previously, even the heavenly Tao thought that Jun Xiaoyao was an anomaly and sent down the 7 rebellious sovereigns to erase this anomaly. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao defied the heavens. Now, he defied the heavens once again. Although my current cultivation realm is still at the supreme supremacy realm, ordinary heavenly venerables are no longer a deterrent to me. Sensing the surging power of laws in his body, Jun Xiaoyao was very confident. Previously, when he only had 2 or 3 laws, he had already killed a lesser heavenly venerable. Now that he had condensed 10 laws, it could be said that he could even kill an extremely powerful lesser heavenly venerable. Ordinary great heavenly venerables were not much of a deterrent to him. In addition, the Sumru world in Jun Xiaoyao's body was also due to the nomological energy of the Tao Transformation Lake. It directly broke through from 520 to 2,000. In an instant, it reached 2/3. That majestic power of the world made the void around Jun Xiaoyao tremble, as if it was about to split open. It should be known that this was the skyless dark realm, where the laws of heaven and earth were different from the outside world and were incomparably firm. To be able to make the space here tremble, it was obvious how strong Jun Xiaoyao's Sumru world was. It was equivalent to the power of 2,000 worlds superimposed on Jun Xiaoyao. It could be said that although Jun Xiaoyao's realm had only advanced by 1 step from the small perfection to the great perfection, compared to before, his real combat strength had definitely improved by more than a little. It was 100 million points. At this moment, the Tao Transformation Lake was surging. Jun Xiaoyao, who was sitting cross-legged, was like a white-robed god, exuding an unparalleled pressure. It even alarmed the 5 kings who were cultivating around him, and they were all shocked. How was this possible? His realm clearly hasn't broken through to the heavenly venerable realm. Why does he give me a feeling that I can't contend with him at all? Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohe looked at Jun Xiaoyao, who was gushing with nomological energy like a god, with shock written all over their faces. Previously, they had thought that although Jun Xiaoyao was strong, they could at least exchange a few moves with him. But now Jun Xiaoyao gave them the feeling that he could completely crush them in one move. This momentum, as expected of Lord Monarch. Could it be that Lord Monarch has condensed 9 nomological laws in his body and become an extreme supremacy? Mo Luo's face was full of admiration. What extreme supremacy? Hearing this, Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohe felt as if their hearts had been hit by a hammer. An extreme supremacy with 9 nomological laws. This was an absolute monstrous talent. He was almost invincible in the same realm. But they didn't know that Jun Xiaoyao's true talent was far beyond the so-called extreme supremacy. Chapter 1090. First Lord Palace's talent is too monstrous. He's an ultimate supreme. Kagura exclaimed. The 6 kings of Armageddon were also monstrously talented. However, it was still difficult to condense 9 laws. It wasn't something that could be done in a short time. Su Hongyi didn't exclaim. She was almost a fanatical believer of Jun Xiaoyao. She wouldn't be surprised if Jun Xiaoyao achieved anything. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's body was flowing with immortal light, and his white robe was flawless. Every pore on his body was gushing with the power of laws. Although the energy in his body was temporarily saturated, Jun Xiaoyao didn't stop absorbing the power of laws. He continued to devour and integrate the power of laws into his inner universe. He used it to nurture the celestial tree and the world tree. Little E, the divine demon ant, was also in his inner universe. After devouring the God-Devourer Emperor's son, the God-Devourer bug, the ant turned into a cocoon and fell into a deep sleep. The rich power of laws was also integrated into the cocoon. Jun Xiaoyao used the remaining energy to strengthen and expand his inner universe. He even integrated it into his body and stored it. It could be said that Jun Xiaoyao was the epitome of plunder. If it weren't for the fact that the Tao Transformation Lake could only exist in the skyless dark realm and couldn't be moved. He even wanted to pack up the entire Tao Transformation Lake and take it away. Apart from him, Su Hongyi also gained a lot. Her body emitted a powerful aura of laws. It could be said that among the Supremes, except for Jun Xiaoyao, Su Hongyi wasn't afraid of any other Supremes. She could even easily crush most of the seed-level prodigies in the immortal region. Among Jun Xiaoyao's followers, Su Hongyi's strength was one of the best. In addition, Kagura also gained a lot. Her aura had become much stronger, and she had also condensed more than 1 law during this time. Mo Luo also gained a little. Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohe were a little sad. They had been affected by Jun Xiaoyao. Although they had some improvements, they obviously didn't enjoy the real benefits of the Tao Transformation Lake. Everyone, it's about time. Let's go deeper. Jun Xiaoyao said. It was not a suggestion, but an order. Yes, sir. There should be more inheritances that belong to us 6 kings in the depths of the skyless dark world, said Mo Luo. The Tao Transformation Lake was only one of the great opportunities in the dark skyless realm. Any living being that could enter could enjoy it. However, the reason why the 6 kings had opened the skyless dark world was to receive the inheritance of the world extermination era. Once they had fully matured in the future, they would be able to destroy the immortal realm. The true inheritance of the 6 annihilation kings. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes also showed a hint of interest. If it wasn't for the inheritance, Jun Xiaoyao would have killed these people long ago. Next, the 6 of them left the Tao Transformation Lake and continued to venture deeper into the skyless dark world. Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohe were extremely reluctant to leave. They didn't want to leave at all, but there was nothing he could do. The situation was beyond his control. The deathly silent, skyless dark world was like an eternally cold and boundless universe. The heavens and the earth were dim and shrouded in mist. It was deathly silent. The deeper they went, the more they could feel the invisible pressure. It was as if there was an indescribable existence spying on them in the dark. That kind of invisible pressure was enough to make anyone confused and even fall into madness. Fortunately, the six kings were not ordinary characters. The dark hexagram on their bodies flickered slightly with black light. This was a kind of protection from their identity. If other living beings rashly entered here, they would have encountered some kind of disaster long ago. Suddenly, there were six vague shadows in front of them, towering into the dark, starry sky. What is that? Kagura's beautiful eyes narrowed. Could it be? Mohuruo thought of something, and his eyes lit up. They approached. They found that there were six dark pagodas. They were incomparably ancient, towering into the sky. Mohuruo, this is... Jun Xiaoyao looked at Mohuruo. As a member of the Moshi clan, he should be the most clear about this situation. This should be the inheritance cultivation pagoda that belongs to us six kings. As everyone knows, as long as the immortal realm is not destroyed, the fate of the six kings will not stop, and it will be reincarnated generation after generation. And how to make the six kings of destruction grow quickly depends on the inheritance cultivation pagoda in the dark skyless realm. There's a great opportunity that belongs to us six kings. Mohuruo was very excited. If the Tao Transformation Lake was an opportunity that all living beings who entered it could enjoy, then these six inheritance cultivation pagodas were the opportunities that belonged to the six kings. I see. Is the inheritance that can make the six kings destroy the immortal realm in it? Jun Xiaoyao asked. It should be, but in the past, the six kings have never completely gathered. So even though there are several kings of destruction who have obtained the ultimate inheritance in each generation, they have never been able to truly destroy the immortal realm. Mohuruo's tone could not hide his excitement. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were deep. Although those kings of destruction did not destroy the immortal realm, the damage they caused was not small. The gap in the border of the ruins of God should be the contribution of the kings of destruction. Jun Xiaoyao wanted to find out what the ultimate inheritance was that could make the six kings of destruction destroy the immortal realm. Without hesitation, the six of them each entered a cultivation pagoda. When they entered the cultivation pagoda, the dark hexagram mark on their bodies lit up slightly. It was like a key. Without this, they could not enter. As soon as they entered the cultivation pagoda, Jun Xiaoyao sensed the biggest change. The flow of time is different. Jun Xiaoyao was surprised to find out. The flow of time in the cultivation pagoda was different from the outside world. It was much slower. In other words, in the cultivation pagoda, one could obtain more time to cultivate. Of course, anything that involved the existence of time was definitely a big deal. As for Zhu Ye's power of time, it was like a child's play. In addition, the laws and spiritual energy in the cultivation pagoda were also extremely rich, almost not much weaker than the Tao Transformation Lake. No wonder, with such a cultivation treasure land, it would be difficult for the six kings not to grow. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was thinking this, suddenly, light and shadow gathered in front of him, and a powerful imprint appeared. That was a foreign young powerhouse, but from the looks of it, he should not be a heavenly talent of this generation. That young powerhouse's imprint directly rushed towards Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao slapped out with his palm. With the power of 10 laws, he had surpassed the supreme realm. This palm strike directly annihilated the imprint. In the void, a ball of light appeared. It was a precious, immortal medicine. So that's how it is. Jun Xiaoyao understood. Inside the cultivation pagoda, there would be many imprints of foreign powerhouses from ancient times to the present for the six kings to cultivate. If they could kill them, they could obtain different rewards and then ascend to the next level. In this case, the ultimate inheritance that can allow the six kings to destroy the celestial realm should be at the top of the pagoda. After understanding this point, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes became firm. An ultimate inheritance that could destroy the celestial realm, just thinking about it, one would know that it was not that simple. It was definitely an ultimate technique with unimaginable power, the rarest divine ability in the world. In this technique, one person could not activate it. It required the combined power of 6 kings. However, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flickered with light. His ambition was not limited to this. Jun Xiaoyao wanted to control the ultimate technique of the 6 kings by himself. Chapter 1091. With a target, Jun Xiaoyao's speed increased. Even though the flow of time in the Inheritance Cultivation Pagoda was far slower than the outside world. However, Jun Xiaoyao didn't plan on staying in the Inheritance Cultivation Pagoda for too long either. Soon after, Jun Xiaoyao ascended to the first level. Another figure appeared. These figures that appeared were all the most shocking existences in the foreign realm since ancient times. They weren't weaker than immortal domain's seed-level figures who woke up from their slumber, perhaps even surpassing them. However, when facing these, Jun Xiaoyao still sent a palm smashing over. Chaotic energy curled about, carrying the power of 2,000 summer worlds. Jun Xiaoyao didn't even need to display any divine abilities, just relying on the power of his physical body to directly wipe out that void imprint. In the void, another sphere of light appeared, landing in front of Jun Xiaoyao. The light scattered. That was a fist-sized piece of metal. It was entirely dark, dark light pervading the air, as deep as the universe. However, there were specks of light, star-like patterns adorning it, appearing extremely deep. This is Dark Universe Profound Gold? Jun Xiaoyao's background was extraordinary, so his horizons were naturally great as well, recognizing the origins of this metal with a single glance. Dark Universe Profound Gold was an immortal gold divine material on par with Divine Scar Purple Gold, Dragon Pattern Black Gold, and others. It was a material that could be used to forge Emperor weapons and even immortal artifacts. It could be said that a fingernail-sized piece was a priceless treasure. This piece of Dark Universe Profound Gold was the size of a fist. Moreover, this was only the second level, yet there was such a supreme treasure. Jun Xiaoyao couldn't help but sigh. This Inheritance Cultivation Pagoda that belonged to the 6 kings really was a cultivation cheat. Jun Xiaoyao directly brought out the Everlasting Sword Core, tapping on the Dark Universe Profound Gold. Soon, all of the Dark Universe Profound Gold's essence was absorbed by the Everlasting Sword Core. The surface of the Everlasting Sword Core shone with resplendent silver light. That flying immortal pattern seemed like it was going to come alive, scattering down a rain of light. With Jun Xiaoyao's physical strength, he actually didn't need any weapons. His fleshly body was his strongest weapon. However, Jun Xiaoyao also had 2 weapons: the Myriad Chi Cauldron and the Daluo Sword Embryo. Both of them were weapons that could grow and evolve. Monarch weapons were not their final destination. After absorbing the Dark Universe Profound Gold, the light of the Everlasting Sword Embryo became even more resplendent. Jun Xiaoyao felt that the Everlasting Sword Embryo should not be far from becoming a true imperial armament. As for the Myriad Chi Cauldron, Jun Xiaoyao intended to use it as a Dao-confirming artifact. In the future, when he attained his Dao, he would imprint all his great Daos onto the Myriad Chi Cauldron. In an instant, the Myriad Chi Cauldron could be upgraded to an extremely high level. So normally, Jun Xiaoyao didn't feed it too much immortal gold and divine materials. Continue. Jun Xiaoyao did not waste any time and continued to ascend to the next floor. When Jun Xiaoyao was challenging the tower, the other 5 were naturally cultivating as well. However, their speed definitely could not keep up with Jun Xiaoyao's speed. The 6 kings stayed behind and cultivated in the Tower of Succession for the time being. However, it was clear that this was only a short trial. After all, they had not only come to the dark skyless world to search for inheritance opportunities. More importantly, they wanted to see the ultimate calamity. This was also Mo Holua's goal. They would not stay here for too long. And just as the heavenless dark world was temporarily silent, in the distant desolate land, a shocking battle was erupting. Starry skies exploded one after another. Huge spatial cracks that stretched for tens of millions of miles could be seen everywhere, covering the sky. One after another, The stars were destroyed like dust in the midst of the battle between the utmost powerful beings. Even some huge, ancient stars were easily destroyed by the shockwaves of the battle. This was the battle that the two worlds had sent out the most experts in this era. It was also the battle that was the most massive. Compared to this battle, the previous conflicts were simply small skirmishes. Of course, everyone knew the reason for this. It was because the June family was leading the way. As an immortal clan of the ancients that had been passed down from the immortal region until now. If the June family really made a move, they would be extremely powerful. Not to mention that the June family's hidden branch had already returned to the main branch. This made the June family, which already had a deep foundation, even more powerful. In the void, there were many blurry figures standing there, fighting against the supreme experts of the other side. Some of the figures were not unfamiliar to him. For example, the Jun family's sixth forefather, Jun Taishian. Once, outside the starry sky, his sword fell on the Huangtian immortal region, destroying Hong's state and completely erasing the Archean royalty, Zulong. There was also the seventh forefather, Jun Tea. He once fished for the star, swallowing ancient beast in the galaxy. When the overlord of the Overlord Ancestral Hall wanted to attack Jun Xiaoyao, he also intervened. These quasi-emperors and ancient ancestors of the Jun family, who originally ignored worldly affairs, all showed up and participated in this battle. It was only then that the forces of the immortal region realized how deep the Jun family's foundation was. Those buried in the Jun family's ancestral hall in the Emperor State were great ancestors of the seventh stage of the Supreme Realm. Above the great ancestors, there were quasi-emperors and ancient ancestors. Above the ancient ancestors, there were distant ancestors. Even the distant ancestors might not be the highest level and oldest existence in the Jun family. What was a foundation? This was called a foundation. In comparison, many of the other clans of the ancients in the immortal region might have risen in recent eras. Having one or two distant ancestors was already considered a good foundation. This was the reason why the Jun family could become the head of the three clans of the ancients. Of course, the main branch of the Jun family was not the only one participating in this battle. The hidden branch of the Jun family also showed up. For example, an old woman with white hair and a face as smooth as a baby's was also in the battle. She was a quasi-emperor ancient ancestor of the hidden branch of the Jun family. Her name was Jun Suehua. Previously, when news spread that Jun Bieli killed Jun Xiaoyao, the seventh ancestor, Jun Tai Yi, had even looked for Jun Bieli to settle the score. At that time, he was stopped by Jun Suehua. But now, they were on the same battlefield, fighting together for the Jun family. Jun family of the immortal region. Who gave you the courage to provoke our world? In the depths of the universe, blurry figures of supreme experts also appeared. Each of them emitted a monstrous aura, and dark matter surged like a tide, engulfing the starry sky. There is no existence in the universe that my Jun family does not dare to provoke. The sixth ancestor, Jun Taishian, coldly rebuked, holding a simple peachwood sword in his hand. The sword swept across the sky, and sword chi spread for 30,000 miles, cutting down countless stars. A shocking battle erupted. In the end, on the other side, there were actually some demonic figures with even more terrifying might that appeared. Undying kings. They are the undying kings of the ultimate emperor clan. When they sensed those blurry yet powerful auras, the eyelids of a few quasi-emperor experts on the immortal region's side jumped. The ultimate emperor clan, the most ancient and mysterious existence of the other side. And now, these ultimate emperor clan's kings appeared. Even though there weren't that many of them, every single one of them had heaven-shocking auras, simply able to crush the heavens. These ultimate emperor clan's kings reached out their hands, covering the sky and covering the sun. They actually directly slapped toward the border pass. Not good. The eyelids of the several quasi-emperors guarding the border all jumped. They took action, their quasi-emperor power surging, natural laws shocking the heavens, forming a sturdy barrier. However, it was no good. No matter how strong a quasi-emperor was, there was still an astonishing difference between them and a true emperor. Moreover, if they were at the same level, the other side's undying kings could mostly suppress the immortal region's great emperors. Pucci, the quasi-emperors guarding the border, were covered in blood, unable to block a single palm from an undying king at all. When they saw this scene, the hearts of many immortal region creatures went cold. Some of the guards' pupils were trembling, their fighting spirits scattered. Who could stop the ultimate Emperor clan's kings? What are you all doing? Brace yourselves for this, Daddy. If the pass is destroyed, then the people will die. A linen-robed elder shouted fiercely. There were 4 scars on his face, and his entire body was filled with the aura of a primal chaos Tao sovereign. It was surprisingly that 4th Master Scar who had taken care of Jun Xiaoyao in the original Emperor City. How can we lose the border pass our benefactor is guarding in our hands? 4th Master Scar's expression was cold as he looked at the immortal kings whose auras overflowed into the heavens in the distant starry space. His benefactor was precisely Jun Wuhui, even though Jun Wuhui still hadn't returned. 4th Master Scar and the others believed that the white-clothed divine king definitely wouldn't fall in the hands of the Scarlet Owl King. Therefore, 4th Master Scar vowed to protect with his life, waiting for Jun Wuhui's return, just as the situation at the border fell into extreme danger. On the immortal region's side, in the depths of the starry sky, suddenly, the aura of an emperor pervaded the air. Chapter 1092. In the depths of immortal domain's cosmos, 7 stars gathered, incomparably resplendent, illuminating that part of the cosmos. An indistinct and aged, stooped figure appeared from the endless starlight, his body engraved with countless symbols. Xiao, an arrow suffused with millions and millions of strands of emperor radiance, shot over. Wherever it passed, the void shattered, turning into a pitch-black abyss. That arrow collided with an undying king's law hand, erupting with great waves. Its Big Dipper Emperor. When they saw that figure appear, on immortal domain's side, countless creatures were incomparably excited. Big Dipper Emperor had also appeared before. That time, it was to kill the primal chaos body, which was Jun Xiaoyao. Even though he failed, that was because the Shanao of Beach stopped him. On immortal domain's side, no one looked down on Big Dipper Emperor because of this. He worked hard, his contributions great, also a hero of immortal domain. An emperor who injured this old one. If you can peacefully hole up, you might be able to live a bit longer. An ultimate Emperor clan king said coldly. Even though I am old, my ambition is not. If I can drag down one of you with me, it wouldn't be a loss. Big Dipper Emperor smiled. Even though his face was old, his ravines crisscrossing, his figure stooped, he was still a great existence. He had a type of unrivaled boldness that could devour the world. Those who could corroborate the Tao and become emperors, which one of them was a simple individual. Laughable to the extreme. The foreign kings took action again, not paying Big Dipper Emperor any attention. It was difficult for an old and seriously injured emperor to even stop an undying king. Stopping all of them was practically a fantasy. What do we do? Could it be that our immortal domain only has a single great emperor? When immortal domain's creatures saw this scene, they couldn't help but cry out in alarm, their faces pale. Originally, at the same level, the foreign creatures already had overwhelming strength. If their numbers weren't enough, then would they still have any hope? Meanwhile, right when everyone was in a state of panic, in the depths of the starry sky, a giant crack suddenly appeared, a terrifying aura spreading. An incomparably indistinct, imposing figure whose entire body was shrouded in Emperor Tao radiance walked out from the void. With every step he took, 10,000 Tao rumbled, the heavens shaking. Heaven and earth seemed like it was going to be deconstructed, the universe collapsing. That unique bloodline reaction caused the expressions of all the Jun family members on the battlefield to shake. Soon after, their eyes were filled with ecstasy. The Jun family's great emperor has appeared. Some of the young warriors of the Jun family couldn't help but shout in excitement. The blurry figure was a man. His body was covered in silver armor, and his face was also covered with a helmet. His silver hair was as dazzling as the galaxy. The great Tao precepts and Emperor's Tao radiance swirled around them, emanating a terrifying pressure that could suppress the world. This was especially true for his vital energy and blood. It was extremely exuberant, surging like a sea of blood. He was far from being a heavily injured and declining monarch tier expert like the Big Dipper Great Emperor. Is that the June family's emperor? Countless gazes fell on the silver-armored, silver-haired man. It wasn't just the other side that was paying attention. Even Immortal Domain side was paying attention to this. After all, many people wanted to figure out how deep the June family's background was. That doesn't seem to be from a main branch of the June family. Could it be a distant ancestor of some hidden branch? An old man asked in surprise. Before the fusion with the June family's main bloodline, the hidden bloodline had kept a low profile. Not to mention greater heavenly martial emperors. Even quasi-emperors rarely appeared. Therefore, to a certain extent, the hidden lineage was hidden even deeper than the main lineage. Since the hidden lineage has merged with the main lineage, it's time for us to contribute something. The silver-armored man clenched his fist slightly, and the sound of his bones exploding was like thunder. He raised his hand and grabbed at the void. An axe that was suffused with endless, immortal radiance appeared. Its sharp and heavy radiance seemed to be able to split the universe apart. It was the June family's quasi-immortal artifact, the Calamity Immortal Axe. This was the June family's main branch's quasi-immortal artifact. However, now that the main and hidden branches had merged, there was no distinction between them. Naturally, the quasi-immortal artifact was shared. Remember, my name is Jun Xinyu. Jun Xinyu, the great emperor of the divine universe, slashed out with his axe. Calamity Immortal Radiance surged, destroying the heavens within 100,000 miles. All laws were broken, and countless divine chains of order were broken. However, that wasn't all. In the void, two more blurry figures appeared, both of them emitting an unparalleled Emperor's Tao radiance. Every member of the June family felt their blood rumbling. Two more June family's emperors. The appearance of three June family's emperors at the same time shocked all living beings in the immortal domain. Many people were dumbfounded, unable to believe what they were seeing. In this epoch where emperors were rare, three emperors from the same faction had appeared at the same time. What did that mean? It meant that the June family was on a completely different level from the other immortal factions and clans of the ancients. After all, any faction could be called an immortal faction as long as they had an emperor. The June family, on the other hand, had casually produced three venerables. Most importantly, the immemorial covenant also restricted the June family. In other words, the true experts of the June family were not in the nine heavens immortal realm. Even so, three emperors had still shown up. Many people felt their scalps turning numb. Both the living beings of the immortal domain and the living beings of the other realms were astonished. Even the emperors of the ultimate monarch tribes were astonished. Without the June family, our world would have a 50% chance of conquering the immortal domain, an immortal emperor murmured. In other words, in their eyes, the June family's strength was enough to dominate half of the immortal domain. It's fine. The six Armageddon emperors have awakened, and they have opened the gate to the skyless dark realm. As long as the great calamity awakens, and awakens the slumbering ancestors of calamity, the June family is nothing. There were also immortal emperors who were confident. The three emperors, including the divine universe emperor, were like three primordial suns, illuminating the universe. The three of them had mighty emperor auras, and their voices shook the world. My June family will suppress all enemies. The emperors roared, their voices shaking the nine heavens. The three emperors of the June family took action, as if they were the strongest iron wall at the border. As expected of the June family, the Big Dipper Emperor also shook his head with a bitter smile. There were strong and weak emperors. If they could continue to advance, they would be stronger than others. Even though he was seriously injured and old, even at his peak state, he was still inferior to the three emperors of the June family. especially the Divine Universe Emperor, who had already surpassed the level of ordinary emperors. He could be considered a giant among emperors. For example, the mother of the red spider lilies of the other realms. Although she was an immortal emperor, her strength was stronger than many immortal kings. As the three emperors of the June family joined the battle, the border had the strength to fight. Even so, the number of top experts on the immortal domain side was still less than the foreign realms. At this moment, there was another mighty Emperor Aura. A figure shrouded in divine splendor held an ancient stone steel in his hand. It was Fushi Immortal Legacy's quasi-immortal artifact, the Fushi Dragon Steel. It's the Xian Ting's Emperor. Another creature cried out in alarm. However, when they saw this scene, the June family's elders sneered and snorted. Waiting for my June family's emperor to appear? If my June family's emperor doesn't appear, the Xian Ting's emperor will probably never appear. The June family's elders sneered with mockery. The reason was simple. If the June family didn't send out an emperor, the Xian Ting might be surrounded by the foreign realm's immortal kings. If they died, it would definitely be a huge loss. Even if they were seriously injured, the Xian Ting couldn't accept it. Therefore, if the June family didn't send out an emperor, the Xian Ting definitely wouldn't send one. If the June family sent out an emperor, the Xian Ting would naturally be criticized by the various forces in the immortal realm. Therefore, it had to be said that the Xian Ting's plan was very shrewd. That was why the Xian Ting's emperor only appeared now. Not only the June family, but also some old antiques from other forces saw through it and couldn't help but shake their heads secretly. The current Xian Ting is no longer the supreme Xian Ting that was divided into 9 immortal legacies to protect the immortal realm. Only one emperor from the Xian Ting appeared, and it was from the Fushi Immortal Legacy. As for the other immortal legacies, there was no movement. However, the immortal realm was vast and boundless, and the hidden forces and power were extremely shocking. Later, the projection of a great emperor appeared and was recognized by people. It came from an ancient clan with an ancient inheritance, but its name was hidden. There was also the Archean royalty, who had a terrifying aura. It was an ancient emperor. Although it was only a projection, the aura it emitted was enough to intimidate the heavens. However, the Archean royalty's ancient emperor didn't take action, looking more like he came to oversee the rear. However, regardless, Immortal Realm finally had the strength to retaliate. Even though the other side was strong, there was no way they could break through the border in a short period of time. Meanwhile, while these supreme beings were fighting, destroying the heavens, in desolate border, the great armies of the two realms, as well as the young heavenly geniuses, were also fighting, tempering themselves in blood and flames. Compared to those supreme beings, the clashes of these young heavenly geniuses similarly drew attention. It was because they represented the future of the two realms. If this battle continues to be a stalemate, then the situation will change. Then it was clear that the fate of the two realms would fall into the hands of these youngsters. Chapter 1093. This great era was very special. It would give birth to an unprecedented powerhouse. And this kind of powerhouse would obviously be born among these geniuses. On the Immortal Region's side, the disciples of the Nine Heavens Immortal Academy were training and fighting. Ling Yin, Gu Tizi, Feather King, Long Yaoer, Ji Qingyi, Princess Longji, Yin Rumeng, Yu Chanwan, and so on. Many figures familiar to Jun Xiaoyao appeared on the battlefield at the border. Apart from them, the Jun family also appeared. The Jun family's main bloodlines, Human Emperor Physique, Lord Grimm, Jun Ling Tsang, and the others were all fighting. Their strength was also around that of a Jizuan, not lagging behind. After all, both the Human Emperor Physique and Polychoria were unique physiques. They all had the bearing of a great emperor. Apart from them, there were also the Jun family sequences. Jun Wushuang, Jun Milan, Jun Xuehuang, and Jun Jianjin were also training on the battlefield. Although their realms couldn't catch up to Lord Grimm, Jun Ling Tsang, and the others, they were still in the Great Sage and Sacred Lord realm. Apart from them, there was also a dazzling existence on the battlefield. That was the Jun family's hidden bloodline son of heaven, Jun Bieli. He was dressed in plain clothes, and his appearance was ordinary. Although he didn't have any special aura, he was one of the most unfathomable existences in the younger generation of the Jun family, apart from Jun Xiaoyao. Of course, this was because he had killed Jun Xiaoyao with his own hands. So, Lord Grimm, Jun Lingsong, and the others didn't have any contact with Jun Bieli. Most of the Jun family's main bloodline didn't even acknowledge Jun Bieli. They were very cold to him. Jun Bieli didn't say anything about this. He already knew what kind of infamy he would have to bear. However, when he saw the beautiful woman in green beside him, he felt that it was all right. Jun Bieli felt that everything he had done was worth it. Beside Jun Bieli, that flowery woman had silky black hair, and her eyes were like flowers. She looked soft and weak, but her talent and strength were extremely terrifying. More than one supreme being from the other side had already fallen in her hands. Who is that woman beside the Jun family son of heaven? Why haven't I heard of her before? On the battlefield, some of the geniuses from the immortal realms stared at that woman with curiosity and bewilderment. Qing you don't have to work so hard. Jun Bieli looked at the lady in green, who was Li Qing. His eyes were filled with love. This Li Qing was the woman that Jun Bieli had saved with the heavenly Dao crown. It was also because of the heavenly Dao crown that Li Qing had transformed from an ordinary tea gatherer into an expert who was strong enough to kill a paragon prodigy. Qing life was exchanged with Big Brother Xiaoyao's life. Qing has to do something. Li Qing still felt guilty. I have a feeling that he will come back. Jun Bieli looked into the distance. Jun Xiaoyao had known about this plan from the very beginning. When Jun Bieli made his move to kill Jun Xiaoyao, what he saw was the calmness and confidence in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. If a person was really about to die, would he still show such calmness and confidence? Jun Bieli didn't believe it, so he had been waiting all along, waiting for him to apologize and atone for his sins. Just as the entire desolate border battlefield was filled with intense killing in the dark skyless world of the Avicania lands, Jun Xiaoyao didn't know how many floors he had ascended. The higher he went, the stronger the opponents he faced. In the beginning, Jun Xiaoyao annihilated them with a single palm strike. Later, he needed 2 or 3 palms. Jun Xiaoyao himself felt that the efficiency was low. However, this was only Jun Xiaoyao's opinion. In the other 5 inheritance cultivation towers, even Su Hongyi had to spend a lot of time to ascend to the first floor, not to mention the others. Fortunately, the flow of time in the inheritance cultivation tower was different from the outside world. Otherwise, it would take a lot of time to reach the top. Finally, after an unknown amount of time, Jun Xiaoyao finally reached the top floor. He also encountered the most powerful opponent. That person might be one of the most monstrous existences in the history of the foreign realm. Jun Xiaoyao felt that this was very likely a young imprint of a certain calamity level immortal in the foreign realm. His talent was even close to the variant level. Of course, there was still a gap between him and a true variant. At least for now, Jun Xiaoyao had seen someone who could reach the variant level. Only himself and that ghost-masked woman. Facing this existence, Jun Xiaoyao didn't underestimate him. He even used the power of the black blood. His black hair turned as white as snow. A pair of deep eyes emitted a faint purple light. Eye of Denuma. A great battle erupted. It had to be said that that imprint was really powerful. If it was in the celestial realm, it could almost sweep through most of the seed-level prodigies. No one would be a match for it. Unfortunately, it encountered Jun Xiaoyao. Although it experienced a battle, that imprint was still destroyed in the hands of the dark version of Jun Xiaoyao. At this moment, a ball of black light suddenly appeared from the void, landing in Jun Xiaoyao's hand. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes revealed light as he reached out to receive it. It was a pitch-black jade slip. He scanned it with his divine sense. He immediately held his breath. What was recorded inside was indeed an ultimate taboo technique. It was called the 6 burials of the heavens, or 6 burials. Bury mountains and rivers. Bury sun and moon. Bury heaven and earth. Bury all life. Bury reincarnation. Bury heavens. This was the 6 burials. It could be said that even one of them was an extremely powerful taboo technique. Any expert would covet it. And the most important thing was that these 6 taboo techniques could be combined into one ultimate move. This was the true power of the 6 burials of the heavens. Of course, there were gains and losses. Although the power of the 6 burials of the heavens was extremely great, there was one disadvantage. It was that the amount of energy needed was too great. It wasn't something a single person could use. To truly unleash the full power of the 6 burials of the heavens was not something a single person could do. No wonder Jun Xiaoyao suddenly realized what was going on. The apocalyptic 6 kings corresponded to the 6 burials of the heavens. If one person controlled one move and the 6 moves combined, they could bury all worlds. This was the ultimate technique of the apocalyptic 6 kings that destroyed the immortal realm. In the past, the 6 kings had never gathered, so it was impossible for them to use the complete version of the 6 burials of the heavens. Jun Xiaoyao continued to comprehend. The move he had obtained was the last of the 6 moves, Bury the Heavens. This move alone could be Jun Xiaoyao's ultimate move. Its power was indescribable. It's difficult for one person to use the 6 burials of the heavens, but I can. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes lit up. He had 2 great physiques, the quasi-connate sacred body, the Tao fetus, and the chaotic physique. Any one of these physiques had an almost limitless amount of energy. Moreover, the 2 bodies could be merged. If one had to find someone who could use the 6 burials of the heavens alone, it had to be Jun Xiaoyao. If that's the case, I have to get the other 5 moves too. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flickered. He wouldn't go easy on the other kings. He left the Inheritance Cultivation Pagoda. Chapter 1094. Outside the 6 Inheritance Cultivation Towers, there were slight ripples in the void. Jun Xiaoyao's figure appeared. After coming out of the tower, he felt that the flow of time had returned to normal. He clearly felt that countless time had passed in the tower. But when he came to the outside world, he realized that not much time had passed. Their speed is too slow. Jun Xiaoyao frowned slightly. He couldn't wait that long, because Mo Holuo had told him before that a war had begun in the desolate border. The Jun family had also moved. No one knew how long they could delay. Jun Xiaoyao needed to know the secret of the ultimate calamity as soon as possible. And he also wanted to know about his father, who hadn't shown up yet. What kind of plan did he have? Thinking of this, Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand. On his wrist, the dark 6-pointed star mark flickered slightly. Jun Xiaoyao pondered about this mark. It wasn't just a symbol of the 6 kings. It could also be used to sense and communicate. In just a moment, 5 figures came out of the Inheritance Cultivation Tower at the same time. When she saw Jun Xiaoyao, Kagura showed a surprised expression and said, "First King's Palace, have you already?" "That's right. I've already cleared the level." Jun Xiaoyao said lightly. So fast. Mo Holuo and the others were shocked. Compared to Jun Xiaoyao, they were like pig teammates who dragged him down. "Sir, about the ultimate inheritance of the 6 kings," Mo Holuo asked tentatively. "I've already obtained it," Jun Xiaoyao said. This time, everyone was shocked again. But when they thought of Jun Xiaoyao's talent and strength, they felt that it was normal. Then First King's Palace asked us to come out because... Kagura hesitated. "We don't have much time now. The war in the desolate border has already begun. No one knows if the immortal region has any backup plans. So we need to hurry and enter the depths of the dark realm to see if we can awaken the ultimate calamity. But before that, we must obtain the ultimate inheritance of the 6 kings. I will enter the 5 towers and help you obtain it." Jun Xiaoyao's explanation was flawless. Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohe opened their mouths. They wanted to say something, but nothing came out in the end. Instead, it was Mao Luo who nodded and said, "Indeed, we should hurry up and awaken the great calamity. But that inheritance..." Zhu Yi gritted his teeth and braced himself. "What? Do you think I'll monopolize the ultimate inheritance of the 6 kings?" Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows. "I wouldn't dare." Zhu Yi lowered his head slightly, the veins on his forehead bulging. Jun Xiaoyao sighed. In fact, they had guessed correctly. Jun Xiaoyao wanted to monopolize the ultimate inheritance of the six kings. Of course, he obviously wouldn't say that out loud. After that, Jun Xiaoyao continued to challenge the tower. The five kings waited outside. This was because the flow of time inside and outside was different. Therefore, they did not have to wait for too long. They saw Jun Xiaoyao appear again and continue to ascend the next tower. Lord's strength is really unimaginable. With him leading us, we will definitely be able to complete the destiny of destroying the immortal region. Maluo's face was also filled with admiration. Jun Xiaoyao could be said to be the person he admired the most besides the ultimate calamity. The five kings watched as Jun Xiaoyao went in and out. It didn't take long for Jun Xiaoyao to clear all five inheritance cultivation towers. Of course, the inheritance cultivation tower was not just that. As they entered different realms, their opponents would also be different. Therefore, even if the six kings grew up in the future, they could still continue to enter it to cultivate. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, had merely gotten his hands on the ultimate inheritance ahead of time. It seems that Lord has already obtained the complete ultimate inheritance, Maluo said with a smile. Well, there's no time to lose. Let's continue to go deeper into the dark skyless world. Jun Xiaoyao left with a single sentence before heading off into the distance. This, Maluo was slightly stunned, but he didn't think much about it. On the other hand, Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohei's faces were as black as the bottom of a pot. They always felt that Jun Xiaoyao was up to no good. But with their current strength and status, they couldn't resist at all. Forget it. If we can really see the calamity, there might be a chance. After all, we're all six kings. The calamity shouldn't favor one and discriminate against the other, right? Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohei were secretly communicating with their divine thoughts. They could only pin their hopes on the mysterious calamity. Jun Xiaoyao and the others continued to go deeper into the dark skyless world. In the depths of the dark skyless world, it was cold since ancient times. Time seemed to have died here. Everything was lifeless. Only the black mist that lingered all year round told of the mystery, ancient, strange, and ominous of this place. After many epochs had passed, there was a huge gap in time. Once again, someone stepped into the deepest part of the dark skyless world. Jun Xiaoyao and the others came here. That strange aura made them uneasy. Even if they were protected by their identities as six kings, they still felt a chill down their spines, and their hair stood on end. Kagura and Su Hongyi subconsciously leaned their delicate bodies against Jun Xiaoyao. In such a strange place, only Jun Xiaoyao could give them a sense of security. At that moment, Jun Xiaoyao suddenly stopped in his tracks. In front of him, there was a silver light flashing, floating in the void like a fish. What's that? Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohei couldn't help but ask. After reaching the depths of the dark skyless world, everyone's minds were tense. The slightest change would make them become frightened birds. Jun Xiaoyao frowned slightly, focused his eyes, and said in surprise, "This is sword energy." What? Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's words, everyone was a little confused. How could there be sword energy in the depths of the dark skyless world? And it's a sword energy that has been here for a long time. I don't know how many years have passed, but it's still here, Jun Xiaoyao said lightly. How is that possible? The dark skyless world is the dojo of the great disaster. Who can use force and leave sword energy here? Emo Holuo shook his head in disbelief. Jun Xiaoyao didn't say anything, but there was a look of contemplation in his eyes. Just now, he thought that the sword energy might have been left by the ghost-masked woman. But now, after carefully sensing it, Jun Xiaoyao felt that the sword energy gave him a vague sense of familiarity. Could it be? He associated it with the Jun family's attack at this time. Jun Xiaoyao seemed to have guessed the purpose of his father, Jun Wuhui's plan. It's really a good plan, building one path in the open and another in the dark. Jun Xiaoyao figured everything out. In the void in front of them, there were many such sword energies lingering. Jun Xiaoyao and the others carefully avoided them. Although they didn't know how long these sword energies had been there, the sharp sword intent could still easily tear apart the body of an immortal. After going deeper for a while, finally, Jun Xiaoyao and the others saw the ruins in front of them surrounded by endless black fog. Behind the ruins was the broken dark universe, riddled with holes. What's going on? Did a great battle happen here? Mo Holuo couldn't believe it. This was the dojo of the ultimate disaster. How could there be a battle? He naturally didn't know that some things had been erased from the history of the Ultimate Emperor clan. This was a memory they didn't want to uncover. At this moment, a system notification sounded in Jun Xiaoyao's mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have reached the check-in location. Do you want to sign in? Jun Xiaoyao was shocked. The dark skyless world in the Avacania realm could be said to be one of the most mysterious and strange check-in locations. He was looking forward to what kind of treasure he could sign in for. Sign in. Chapter 1095. Ding! Congratulations to the host for signing in 10-star reward. The 3 lives bronze coffin. The system's mechanical voice sounded. Jun Xiaoyao immediately noticed it. In his innerverse, a simple and heavy ancient bronze coffin appeared. The entire ancient coffin was engraved with totems of the sun, moon, stars, plants, insects, fish, ancestors, and so on. It carried an ancient vicissitude and primitive aura. This ancient coffin was quietly floating in Jun Xiaoyao's innerverse. There were no powerful fluctuations emanating from it. However, Jun Xiaoyao felt that the level of this ancient coffin had surpassed that of an emperor weapon. An immortal artifact? Jun Xiaoyao pondered in his heart. If it wasn't an immortal artifact, how could it reach the level of a 10-star reward? But if it was an immortal artifact, this 3 lives bronze coffin didn't emit too shocking an aura. There is also no phenomenon of immortal light lingering around it. First King's Palace? Kagura probed when she saw that Jun Xiaoyao was frozen in place, seemingly lost in thought. Jun Xiaoyao came back to his senses and said, "It's okay. Let's move forward." Although Jun Xiaoyao didn't know what this 3 lives bronze coffin was for now. But since it was a 10-star reward, it must have its value. Jun Xiaoyao didn't dwell on it anymore. Everyone moved forward step by step. In front of them was a collapsed ancient ruin. It was like the ruined dojo of the ancient gods of the past. And behind the ruins was a vast and unfathomable universe. It was hard to imagine that in the depths of the Avacania lands in the skyless dark realm, it turned out to be such a broken picture of a universe. Countless dead stars had turned into ice-cold wreckage that had been frozen in this dark universe since time immemorial. There were also all kinds of unknown skeletons floating in the void. The remnant sword energy scattered in the universe like swimming fish. This is the deepest part of the skyless dark realm. Where's the great calamity? Mo Holuo glanced around. His eyes were filled with excitement and confusion, because very few people knew what the so-called calamity was. So, they didn't know what kind of existence it was. Jun Xiaoyao was also probing with his perception. However, he was able to faintly sense that formless and terrifying pressure. It was as if there was a pair of eyes staring at everything in the dark. Just as everyone was puzzled, the Armageddon forbidden artifacts in their hands suddenly reacted. God's weeping war halberd, devil blade heavens weep, Mahakala mirror, myriad demons pagoda, torch dragon lamp, and 10 tails heaven annihilation plate. The 6 Armageddon forbidden artifacts floated in the air like 6 keys and fell into the universe deep in the ruins. Rumble. It was as if an ancient door had opened. That vast and boundless dark universe was actually shaking and twisting. Countless stars and corpses were instantly shattered into dust. In an instant, the earth and sky shook, and the universe shook. This wave of shaking power left heavenless dark realm, left unspeakable lands, engulfing the foreign side's 10 great provinces. It even reached desolate border, crossing the border pass. All the worlds in the universe seemed to be trembling because of this power. Everything seemed to be announcing that the foreign side's ultimate disaster was about to descend. What's going on? In desolate border, countless creatures were shocked. This was especially the case with immortal domains creatures. They sensed a wave of unmatched power sweeping over from the foreign side, shaking up 10,000 worlds. On the foreign side, many creatures were a bit stupefied as well. However, a few old monsters seemed to have thought of something, their expressions immediately carrying incomparable shock and pleasant surprise. Could it be that the calamity has awakened? The ultimate disaster on a mortal domain's side could be considered a secret. Only the higher-level experts knew about it. However, on the foreign side, many king clans and above knew about it. This could be said to be the foreign side's ultimate profound mystery, as well as the ultimate force. Not good. Could it be? On a mortal domain's side, the expression of Nine Heavens Immortal Academy's great elder who participated in the battle also immediately changed. This aura, it really did open. Jun family's Jun Taixin, Jun Tai, and the other ancient ancestors' expressions were also a bit grave. It's finally about to wake up. Immortal Domain's end is about to arrive. There were foreign, undying kings who roared with laughter, their voices shaking the world. There were ultimate Emperor clan kings who hadn't taken action yet. With a raise of their hands, divine might surged, natural laws interweaving, forming a giant screen of light, about to display the scene inside Heavenless Dark Realm. Even though Heavenless Dark Realm was extremely mysterious, there were ultimate Emperor clan kings who had previously entered, obtaining the opportunities inside. It was also only these existences who had the ability to display the scene inside Heavenless Dark Realm. On a mortal domain's side, no matter how powerful an existence was, there was no way they could pry into Heavenless Dark Realm. It was because Dark Realm had its own natural laws. Only those ultimate Emperor clan kings were permitted to be reflected. In the void, a boundless screen of light appeared. Black mist pervaded ruins, and ruined cosmos were reflected. In Desolate Border and the Border Pass, many creatures couldn't help but stop fighting, raising their heads to look towards that boundless screen of light. They had a vague feeling that something huge was about to happen. This was especially the case with Immortal Domains creatures, every single one of them feeling ill at ease, feeling a type of uneasy premonition. Meanwhile, on the foreign side, many creatures who knew the inside information all carried fanatical expressions. There were even more foreign creatures who roared out, wishing for Immortal Domain to witness the descent of the great calamity. At this moment, heaven and earth became deathly still. At this moment, not a sound could be heard. It was to the extent where not many people paid attention to the 6 kings figures on the screen of light. It was because compared to the 6 kings, everyone was more concerned about what exactly was in the depths of the darkness. Dong, dong. It was like the sound of footsteps, but also like the sound of a heartbeat. In the depths of the dark cosmos that had been silent since ancient times, the 6th world, destroying forbidden artifacts, opened a great gate of nothingness. A black humanoid figure slowly walked out from within. It was displayed before everyone's eyes. It was a black figure that looked like a giant. His entire body was pitch black and rotten, black blood flowing out from time to time. As the humanoid creature breathed in and out, endless black mist engulfed the boundless cosmos. On his face was half a mask, revealing the other half of his face. It was handsome to the point of being a bit sinister. Handsome half of his face, the other half an ice-cold iron mask. His entire body was rotten, flowing with black blood. It was hard to imagine this type of strangeness. It made every drop of blood in one's body feel as if it was about to freeze. This is the ultimate disaster. In the depths of the skyless dark world, Jun Xiaoyao and the other 5 looked at the figure that stepped out from the depths of the cosmos. Their breathing stopped for a moment. That figure was the source of the dark matter. However, Jun Xiaoyao could feel that the humanoid creature's body was indeed filled with rich black blood energy. It was just that it had not reached the level of black blood. This made Jun Xiaoyao secretly keep an eye on it. The truth of the matter might not be that simple. Greetings to the great disaster, Mo Holuo suddenly shouted, kneeling on the ground, his eyes filled with fanatical worship. Although this ultimate disaster's appearance was very strange and terrifying, it did not change its nature. Jun Xiaoyao could not detect what realm the ultimate disaster was at. He was like the end of everything, and his realm had already reached an unimaginable realm. At least, when facing the immortal kings, Jun Xiaoyao could imagine how strong he was. But now, looking at the ultimate disaster, standing in the endless darkness of the broken cosmos, breathing in and out monstrous black mist, he could not imagine how strong the ultimate disaster was. Mo Holua's shout made the ultimate disaster's gaze fall on Jun Xiaoyao and the other five. Those pitch-black and numb eyes were cold and still, without the slightest emotion. However, Mo Holuo and the others were completely ignored. The ultimate disaster's gaze only fell on Jun Xiaoyao. A familiar yet disgusting aura. Who are you? Chapter 1096. The sky covering black mist, the ice-cold and deathly still cosmos, the black-blooded humanoid creature. When all of these scenes appeared on the screen of light in desolate border sky, everyone held their breaths. Forget about immortal domain. Even in the foreign realm, it could be said that 99% of the creatures had only heard of the name Ultimate Calamity, never knowing what it was exactly. But now everyone saw it. The source of the foreign realm's darkness, the ultimate fear of all things, one of the world's destruction. Ultimate Calamity, it finally appeared in this world. The great calamity has descended. Immortal Domain's doomsday is also about to arrive. The foreign realm's undying kings roared angrily, their voices shaking the world, many great stars falling from their roars. Is that the calamity? This was the first time many foreign creatures saw it, their eyes carrying ecstasy within their shock. Meanwhile, in Immortal Domain, most of the creatures were at a loss. It was because they had never heard of it before. However, when they saw the scene on the screen of light, they could also sense that this was an existence whose strength was unimaginably powerful. Meanwhile, the expressions of Immortal Academy's Great Elder and the other Immortal Domain old monsters changed greatly, their pupils trembling. Those ordinary Immortal Domain cultivators might not understand what that black-blooded, black mist-covered creature represented. However, they knew, if the world-destroying six kings were to grow up, they might bring a world-destroying calamity to Immortal Domain. Then the ultimate calamity itself was one of Immortal Domain's greatest tribulations. Meanwhile, right at this time, everyone in Desolate Border heard the voice of the ultimate calamity. It was as if countless demonic voices overlapped, but also as if a demonic god was muttering. The ultimate calamity was questioning Jun Xiaoyao. Even though it didn't deliberately release its aura, the pressure the ultimate calamity exerted was endless. Zhu Yi, Yin Xiaohei, and even Kagura all knelt down. Su Hongyi tightly clenched her teeth, standing behind Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao didn't kneel. She didn't kneel either. Her master was Jun Xiaoyao, not the ultimate calamity. Heh, Jun Xiaoyao suddenly laughed. Even when facing this endless darkness, Jun Xiaoyao's body was still perfectly straight, his white clothes untainted by a speck of dust. Jun Xiaoyao had long anticipated this. His void fate physique, his heaven-stealing sun-swapping technique, perhaps he could deceive the foreign creatures. Even undying kings might find it hard to grasp his karma. However, what kind of existence was the ultimate calamity? Before his eyes, there were no mysteries. All secrets were no secrets. As such, Jun Xiaoyao had no hope of being able to hide from the ultimate disaster. His only goal was to find out the truth of the ultimate calamity and let the immortal region know. That was because an unknown opponent was the most frightening. Immortal Domain, Jun Xiaoyao was able to sense that there seemed to be some sort of power projecting the scene around him. If that was the case, it would fit Jun Xiaoyao's plan perfectly. Immortal and Immortal was Immortal was the Immortal. Immortal, the ultimate calamity's voice was like countless demonic voices superimposed together, carrying a voice that echoed through the ages. At this moment, all the bones in Jun Xiaoyao's body were cracking. Even someone as strong as the primal chaos physique showed signs of cracking, his flesh about to collapse. One had to know that this was just a question from the ultimate calamity. Who am I? I am the one who came to uncover the truth, to let the world see that the so-called mysterious calamity is nothing more than this. Jun Xiaoyao shook his sleeves, looking down on the world, looking down on the universe. Shock. Extreme shock. The other kings were all stunned. He dared to speak to the ultimate calamity like this? Since ancient times, there weren't many people who did so. Lord, are you crazy? Mo Holuo shouted in disbelief, his eyeballs about to pop out of their sockets. Not only him, Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohe were also shocked. However, they had long had a premonition that Jun Xiaoyao wasn't quite right, as if he had some kind of premeditated plan. Towards this, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent, not explaining anything. He directly raised his hand, the power of 2,000 Sumeru worlds merging together. The terrifying power of 10 superimposed natural laws directly crushed towards the other kings. This scene was seen through the screen of light, landing in the eyes of countless creatures in Desolate Border. That person is the foreign chaotic physique that appeared in Desolate Border before. I heard Immortal Academy's elders say that the chaotic physique was one of the World Destruction's 6 kings. But why is he taking action against his companions now? Desolate Border. Many creatures from Immortal Domain saw this scene, all of them incredibly shocked. This was especially the case for Immortal Academy's Gutizi and the others. In the Battle of Desolate Border before, that foreign chaotic physique could be said to have left them with an incomparably deep lesson. On the battlefield that belonged to the 2 worlds' heavenly talents, there was a bright and beautiful figure who stared blankly at the white-clothed, blurry figure in the screen of light, absent-minded. This woman had bright eyes and white teeth, beautiful beyond compare, her supple fine black hair tied into twin ponytails. Who else could she be, if not Jiang Luoli? Could it be? Jiang Luoli's voice was trembling slightly. Oh, the power of 20 Sumeru worlds, the power condensed from 10 Dao laws. In addition, it was Jun Xiaoyao who suddenly took action. It could be said that he didn't give the other kings a way out at all. Zhu Yi and Yun Xiaohe, the 2 of them, were directly slapped to death by Jun Xiaoyao's palm. Even in death, they didn't know Jun Xiaoyao's true identity. Meanwhile, Mo Holuo was beaten until he was seriously injured, completely without the strength to resist. It was to the extent where even Kagura was affected. She spat out a mouthful of blood, her beautiful eyes looking at Jun Xiaoyao in disbelief. First King Palace, your respected self, is... It could be said that everyone was stunned. It wasn't just Kagura and the others. In Desolate Border, the foreign creatures who were watching the screen of light were all stunned. Why did the World Destruction 6 kings start fighting amongst themselves? Could it be? An undying king from Demon Dawn clan seemed to have thought of something, his expression changing. At this moment, the creatures of the 2 worlds in Desolate Border all stopped fighting at the same time. Because the most important thing was the ultimate disaster. If the disaster happened, even the Great Emperor couldn't stop it, and the border would be destroyed. At that time, it would be the apocalypse of the immortal realm. My lord, Emoholoa's mouth was full of blood, and he stared at Jun Xiaoyao in a daze. He couldn't even process what was happening. Jun Xiaoyao had attacked them out of the blue. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was cold, and he directly pressed Emoholoa's body with his palm. Pucci, Emoholuo was dead. In just an instant, of the World Destruction 6 kings, only Jun Xiaoyao, Su Hongyi, and Kagura were left. This move could be said to have stunned all the creatures. Kagura felt cold all over, and her blood was freezing, because Jun Xiaoyao was looking at her. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were very unfamiliar, with a coldness that she had never seen before. He seemed to be thinking about whether to kill Kagura or not. First King's Majesty, what happened to you? Kagura fell to the ground with a thump. Her beautiful eyes lost their spirit. She couldn't understand Jun Xiaoyao's actions. and the ultimate disaster from beginning to end, just watched all of this without any expression. In his dark and numb eyes, there was no emotion that belonged to a living being. To him, the six kings were just chess pieces. Even if they died, they would continue to be reincarnated. As long as he didn't die, the real six kings wouldn't die. This disgusting aura. Perhaps I know where you came from. Ultimate calamity, said indifferently. Jun Xiaoyao turned to look at the ultimate disaster. The chaotic fog around him and the great stealing sky-swapping technique that had been hiding his aura slowly dissipated. In the endless immortal light, Jun Xiaoyao's true appearance was completely revealed. White clothes whiter than snow, a prince like jade. Who else in the world could have such a peerless demeanor? At this moment, the world was silent. From the desolate border to the border, countless creatures stopped breathing at this moment. Only I am in heaven and earth. Jun Xiaoyao. Chapter 1097. When the name Jun Xiaoyao was heard, the entire borderland, and even the border, the battlefield that was originally filled with awe-inspiring noises fell into a strange silence. Countless people's thoughts turned sluggish in that instant. On the other side, most of the creatures were shocked, furious, and confused. How could one of the six world-destroying kings be related to the Jun family of the immortal realm? On the other hand, countless cultivators on the immortal realm side were filled with shock and disbelief. What did they just hear? A name they hadn't heard for a long time. A name that once shone brightly in the nine heavens immortal realm. A name that was raised to the altar, but ended tragically in the end. It reappeared in this world. The transcendent figure in flawless white robes that was reflected in everyone's hearts appeared once again. And it was in an even more shocking manner. Rumble. At that moment, the sky of the immortal realm was shaking. Billions of lightning bolts were gathering. This was the wrath of the heavens. Jun Xiaoyao had fooled the heavens of the immortal realm. He had won a round of the heavenly Tao with the body of a mortal. What was heaven-defying? This was heaven-defying. It's the son of God of the Jun family, Lord Xiaoyao. Xiaoyao, the son of God. Young master. It's Xiaoyao, it's really him. He's still alive. He's not dead yet. From the border to the borderland, everyone who was related to Jun Xiaoyao felt their minds rumbling, their nerves trembling from the shock. Their minds were blank, filled with extreme joy. They even felt like they were dreaming. The elders of the Jun family were crying tears of joy. Many of them were thousands of years old, but their eyes were red at the moment, crying and laughing like children. Jun Xiaoyao was an existence similar to the heaven-abandoning monarch and the white-robed divine king in the Jun family's modern era. He was considered the hope of the Jun family to continue the era. At that time, Jun Xiaoyao sacrificed himself, using his body as a shackle to suppress the evil thoughts of the gods, and then sacrificed himself. It was undoubtedly the pain of the Jun family. Although some of the higher-ups of the Jun family always believed that Jun Xiaoyao shouldn't die like this. However, there was no news of Jun Xiaoyao for several years, which made many of the family members despair. But now, Jun Xiaoyao showed up in an even more shocking manner. Where was he? The strangest and most mysterious place of the foreign realm, the dark sky realm. Since ancient times, how many people could make it there? The Son of God, the divine child of the Jun family, can't be buried by the heavens and destroyed by the earth. At that moment, many of the young geniuses of the Jun family, as well as those in the sequence, began to yell at the top of their lungs to vent their frustrations. After seeing Jun Xiaoyao fall, many forces secretly thought that the Jun family would fall from prosperity to decline. But now, Jun's with the immortal realm. Lord Divine Child. The sequences of the Jun family were also agitated. Xiaoyao always likes to be like this. When he doesn't make a sound, he always amazes everyone. Lord Grimm and Jun Lingsong were laughing loudly. It seemed that the three giants of the Jun family could be reunited again. I knew that the Lord must still be alive. Somewhere on the battlefield, Yi was extremely excited. He looked up to the sky and roared. Wang Chuan, Yin Qingying, goddess of eternal calamity, and the others were also crying tears of joy. those who had a relationship with Jun Xiaoyao. Yin Rumong, Yu Chanwan, Princess Longji, all of them were very excited and couldn't calm down. Jun Xiaoyao, Ling Yin bit her plump lips. She wanted to cry tears of joy, but as the young empress of the Xianting, she couldn't show it. However, the only thing she knew was, when she saw the familiar figure in the corner, she was very happy. She didn't know if this move belonged to Ling Yin or Fairy Maiden Yuan. However, it didn't matter, because now she was Ling Yin and also Fairy Maiden Yuan. Brother Xiaoyao. Jiang Luoli's eyes were also red and sparkling. She had always wanted to be strong and not cry. But now, when she saw Jun Xiaoyao's figure on the light screen again, she couldn't help but cry. Linglong, Dice, and Hongdo, and lovesickness, no? And her prayers day and night finally had an answer. That man was back. On the other hand, those geniuses who had conflicts with Jun Xiaoyao before. How is this possible? Even the heavens can't bury him. Gu Tizi was shocked and couldn't believe it. He even felt like he was dreaming. And what made Gu Tizi even more horrified was that Jun Xiaoyao was actually the alien chaotic body from the desolate border. From the sacred body of the ancients to the chaotic body. What on earth did Jun Xiaoyao go through? Gu Tizi's eyes were bloodshot, and his face was almost ferocious. In particular, he saw Ling Yin in the corner of his eye, and there seemed to be a trace of tears in his eyes. He knew that Ling Yin must have some connection with Jun Xiaoyao. No, if this continues, the only hope to compete with Jun Xiaoyao is the young king. Gu Tizi thought to himself. The young king he was thinking of was not Ling Yin, the current young king. Instead, it was an ancient young king who had been sleeping for many eras in the Xianting. It was said that his talent was beyond imagination. Damn it, Jun Xiaoyao. You should have been buried, but it doesn't matter. You may not be able to survive now. Gu Tizi clenched his fists, and his eyes were cold. What was Jun Xiaoyao's situation now? In front of the ancient ultimate disaster of the foreign realm. What were the odds of Jun Xiaoyao being able to survive? Really, is he my benefactor? On the battlefield, Li Qing'er was also surprised. She had been feeling guilty before, and now she finally had a chance to make up for it. Yes, I'm also glad that he is alive, but now we can't let our guard down. Jun Bieli's face was still serious. Jun Xiaoyao was in more than just a little bit of danger when faced with the ultimate catastrophe. Many people had thought of this. Everyone in the Jun family was a little nervous. Some forces in the mystic realm who had conflicts with the Jun family were watching the show coldly. As for the foreign realm, many creatures of the Emperor family were furious. Damn it, we were fooled by that kid. It doesn't matter. If the great ultimate disaster really recovers, the Six Kings are just icing on the cake. Let's see how this kid falls. Some of the kings said coldly. In front of the ultimate disaster, even great emperors were extremely weak. There was even less of a need to talk about Jun Xiaoyao. In front of the ultimate disaster, he was only at the supreme being realm. He was simply smaller than an ant, as insignificant as a speck of dust. Inside the heavenless dark world, Kagura was incomparably shocked. Mystic Realm's Jun family, how could this be? First King Palace, Kagura was absent-minded, her mind suffering a huge impact. As for Su Hongyi, even though she was surprised, her expression was still calm. No matter what Jun Xiaoyao's identity was, she wouldn't care. Her loyalty didn't waver in the slightest. Jun Xiaoyao didn't pay attention to Kagura, whose emotions were extremely complicated. He looked straight at the ultimate disaster. What was a bit unexpected was that the ultimate disaster was still calm. This was a type of calmness when facing an ant. Even though Jun Xiaoyao's identity as a member of the Jun family had caused him to feel a tinge of anger. Overall, he was still very indifferent. You can hide from everything, but you can't hide from me. You are indeed a very interesting ant. The ultimate disaster said indifferently. Jun Xiaoyao also smiled. To be praised by the ultimate disaster, the source of darkness, this Jun is not worthy of such praise. In the face of such a crisis, Jun Xiaoyao could still talk cheerfully. Even those foreign kings in the border pass sighed with emotion. The mystic realm really did produce a heaven-defying monster. Are these your last words? The ultimate disaster said. Let's make a bet, Jun Xiaoyao said. These words made the mystic realm people have strange expressions. They were reminded of Jun Xiaoyao's rule of winning every bet he made. In the game against the heavens, Jun Xiaoyao always won. Do you have the qualifications to make a bet with me? The ultimate disaster said. An existence who was once injured by my Jun family's ancestor and is in an incomplete state. Do you really think of yourself as a high and mighty god? Jun Xiaoyao stood proudly with his hands behind his back, his eyes filled with disdain. The ultimate disaster's aura shook slightly, and a dark storm rose in the dark universe. Jun Xiaoyao's words touched on the past he didn't want to recall. Regarding this, Jun Xiaoyao was still indifferent. Let's make a bet. Let's bet. Between me, Jun Xiaoyao, and you, the ultimate disaster, who will have a last laugh. Chapter 1098. One was the ultimate calamity who stood in the endless dark, broken universe, known as the source of darkness, the beginning of calamity. The other was Jun Xiaoyao, whose white clothes were whiter than snow, whose cultivation was only at the supreme realm. Logically speaking, these two, not to mention opponents, they were not on the same level at all. This was no longer the difference between heaven and earth. It was the difference in the level of life forms. The ultimate calamity had already transcended the form of ordinary living beings. It was an unimaginably strange existence. A drop of black blood on his body could pollute a world. However, these two were existences that could not be placed on the same level at all. They were making a bet. Cold laughter rang out, like the rough and hoarse laughter of thousands of devils. The ultimate calamity actually laughed. He, who had never had any human emotions, let out a cold laugh. It could be seen that Jun Xiaoyao's actions, in his eyes, were childish and stupid. Betting with me, Calamity, Aunt, I admire your stupid courage. Since that's the case, then I'll grant you mercy once. How about it? The ultimate calamity slowly raised his hand, stretched out a finger, and pointed at Jun Xiaoyao. A finger. Heaven and earth were destroyed. All things returned to the void. Before calamity, only nothingness can be seen. Wherever the finger passed, all matter turned into nothingness. Even the space that originally didn't have anything turned into nothingness. Even space itself didn't exist. This was an incomparably terrifying scene. Even the most primitive particles that built the world were decomposed into nothingness. Facing this finger, Jun Xiaoyao's expression also had a hint of solemnity. Then boom, the void behind Jun Xiaoyao directly split open. A destructive aura surged in all directions. An incomparably majestic demonic shadow stepped out from within. A terrifying aura suppressed all the worlds in the universe. It was like the most powerful demon king of destruction, coming from the ancient era to the present. What's going on? In the desolate land, everyone held their breaths, staring at the scene on the light screen. That's the evil thoughts of the gods. There were great figures from a mortal domain who cried out in alarm, their eyeballs about to pop out, unable to believe this. The one who stepped out from behind Jun Xiaoyao was the evil thought of the god that had been suppressed in Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe by Emperor Qing. At that moment, Jun Xiaoyao had actually unleashed the evil thoughts of the god right there and then. How is this possible? The son of god of the Jun family not only sealed the evil thoughts of the gods with his own body, but also controlled them? The big shots of the various forces in the immortal region couldn't help but exclaim. By the way, the son of god of the Jun family seemed to be using the identity of the alien chaotic body as a cover. Could it be? Many people thought of this. The Azure the Arch was a chaotic green lotus. There was only one possibility. Jun Xiaoyao had obtained the inheritance of the Azure the Arch. After understanding this point, many people understood the situation as well. Why was it possible for Jun Xiaoyao to survive? How could the inheritance of the myth monarch be ordinary? These people were partially right, but some of them were wrong. Jun Xiaoyao had indeed relied on the Azure the Arch to suppress the evil thoughts of the gods. But he couldn't control the evil thoughts of the gods. The evil thoughts of the gods didn't have any thoughts or rationality. They only knew how to kill and destroy. Whoever was in front of them, they would kill them. And now, compared to Jun Xiaoyao, the ultimate calamity was obviously more obvious. It was like the difference between the sun and a match. No one would pay attention to the ants at their feet first. Therefore, the evil thoughts of the gods were directly facing the ultimate calamity. Boom! The evil thoughts of the gods directly attacked, and their power shook the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Their demonic power shook the universe. This evil thoughts of the gods seemed to have walked out of the mythological era. That terrifying pressure was simply about to collapse the worlds. The obsession of a great emperor was enough to cause a catastrophe of the world and a river of blood for hundreds of millions of miles. Not to mention the evil thoughts of a myth monarch transformed into a god. That power was enough to annihilate the heavens. One had to know that in order to prevent the evil thoughts of the gods from destroying the world of the ruins of God, the immortal region had thought of many ways. But now, most of the cultivators of the immortal region actually hoped that the evil thoughts of the gods could win. Although the evil thoughts of the gods were once a great threat to the world of the ruins of God. But now, it was related to Jun Xiaoyao's life and death. Everyone naturally leaned towards the evil thoughts of the gods. The void was silently annihilated. The majestic energy of the evil thoughts of the gods melted like ice in spring when it encountered that finger. That wasn't a collision of the power of laws, but a suppression on a higher level. Bang! Although the ultimate calamity's finger was blocked by the evil thoughts of the gods. More than half of the energy on the evil thoughts of the gods was also scattered. After all, he was an undying obsession left behind by the myth monarch, which had turned into an evil thoughts. Compared to a true myth monarch, it was completely incomparable. Perhaps facing a great emperor, the evil thoughts of the gods could easily crush him. But his opponent now wasn't a great emperor. Instead, it was the most ancient and most powerful existence in the foreign world. Is this what you're relying on? Isn't it a bit laughable? The ultimate calamity stretched out his finger again. Endless black blood power gathered, turning into a pitch-black beam of light that could destroy the world. Everything would wither and be destroyed under this black light. Roar! The blood-red light in the eyes of the evil thoughts of the gods surged as if it had gone berserk. He had no rationality, nor did he have the thoughts of a human. He only knew that the creature in front of him was provoking him and attacking him. Billowing chaos energy surged, and the terrifying evil thoughts' soul power swept through the universe, shattering countless stars. In the void, large cracks that spanned tens of millions of miles spread. When the evil thoughts of the gods were enraged, the world seemed to be about to be destroyed. This scene caused the eyelids of many cultivators in the celestial realm to twitch. Fortunately, Jun Xiaoyao had sealed the evil thoughts of the gods in the world of the ruins of God. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Thinking of this, countless cultivators respected Jun Xiaoyao even more. Even the older generation of cultivators was the same. Heroes didn't care about age. Heroes were born young. And Jun Xiaoyao, who was in the dark skyless world, was surprised to discover that. In his inner universe, the power of faith was increasing again. However, the source of this power of faith wasn't the Destiny Church or the billions of believers in the foreign world. It came from the celestial realm. It seems that being a hero has its benefits. Jun Xiaoyao couldn't help but smile bitterly. He was originally the person who was the least willing to be a hero. But in the end, he became a hero. It could only be said that fate played tricks on people. But now, the game isn't over yet. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was still very solemn. Although the evil thoughts of the gods had temporarily blocked the ultimate calamity. But he didn't choose to escape. Because Jun Xiaoyao knew, as long as he was in the dark skyless world, the ultimate calamity wouldn't let him leave safely. Jun Xiaoyao, the ultimate calamity. Only one of the two could exist. Third finger. The ultimate calamity's tone was indifferent as he continued to extend his finger. With his finger, endless black blood gathered in the universe. Countless strange runes were imprinted all over the universe. This was a great power of destruction. The black blood invaded all worlds and corroded everything. Even the evil thoughts of the gods roared crazily under this finger, somewhat powerless. Finally, there was a thunderous explosion. The evil thoughts of the gods were directly destroyed. Countless soul powers scattered in all directions, and the roaring, demonic sound shattered the boundless universe. 3 fingers. It was only 3 fingers. It destroyed the evil thoughts of the gods left behind by the myth emperor. At this moment, all the creatures of the immortal region felt a chill in their throats. The evil thoughts of the gods that could bring endless blood calamity to the immortal region. They were annihilated by the ultimate calamity's 3 fingers. All the cultivators of the immortal region finally understood. What kind of terrifying existence was the so-called ultimate calamity of the other realm? Next, it's you. The ultimate calamity was emotionless. His palm reached out towards Jun Xiaoyao. It was as if the dark universe was capsizing. The endless dark world, accompanied by a monstrous black fog, enveloped Jun Xiaoyao. This was a kind of crushing without any resistance. It was as if he was facing the end of the world's destruction and could only choose a desperate death. But Jun Xiaoyao's expression didn't change. In his choice, there was no such thing as accepting fate. He wanted to give it his all. And at this moment, suddenly, the chanting of gods sounded. The light of dusk shone. It was as if the light of dawn struck. It dispelled this heavy darkness. A tall and slender figure clad in white stood in front of Jun Xiaoyao, blocking his path. The Divine King had no regrets. Chapter 1099. On the desolate border screen of light, when everyone saw the ultimate disaster's 3 fingers annihilate the evil will of a deity. All of the creature's fine hairs stood on end, incomparably terrified, shocked to the point where even their souls became sluggish. This was especially true for the creatures on a mortal domain side. They couldn't believe that the ultimate disaster was actually this powerful. Meanwhile, what made them feel even more suffocated was that the ultimate disaster continued to point towards Jun Xiaoyao. Lord Son of God, Young Master, Xiaoyao. On a mortal domain side, everyone related to Jun Xiaoyao had pale faces, their expressions horrified as they cried out. Jun Xiaoyao, who won against the heavens by half a step. Who could even win against the heavens? Could it be that he was really going to fall under the ultimate disaster's hands? Many elders were so nervous that they almost suffocated. If Jun Xiaoyao really fell, that wouldn't just be a loss to the Jun family. It would be a loss to the entire immortal domain. It was because immortal domain side would lose an unmatched existence who would suppress all worlds in the future. Big Brother Xiaoyao. Zhang Luoli's voice was mournful like a cuckoo crying blood. Her heart also seemed like it was going to stop beating. Right when the 2 realms, hundreds of millions of eyes were staring rigidly at the scene on the screen of light. An incomparably resplendent brilliance suddenly appeared in the dark universe. 3,000 divine kingdoms appeared in the void. It was as if there were 3,000 deities sitting cross-legged, chanting. In the void, an expanse of dim yellow light appeared, as if the dusk of the gods had arrived. Ancient divine texts were imprinted in the void. Boundless power was resisting the ultimate disaster's finger. At the same time, a majestic figure that seemed to support the heavens appeared in front of Jun Xiaoyao. Silent but firm, it was like the world's sturdiest barrier. Even with Jun Xiaoyao's temperament, he was still stunned at this moment, his mind momentarily blank. Although he had already expected that his father might appear, he had not expected his father to appear. After all, this was a trap set up by the Jun family to begin with. But now, when he truly saw this figure, Jun Xiaoyao was momentarily speechless, not knowing what to say. His emotions were complicated, all sorts of emotions. He had never seen his father since he was born, but now he was standing in front of him, blocking the calamity. Xiaoyao, get behind me. An indifferent but deep voice came from the white-robed figure in front of her. Jun Wuhui did not turn around. However, Jun Xiaoyao slowly clenched his fist. Before the ultimate calamity that could destroy the world, who could stand up like this and say to him, stand behind him? Only his father, the white-cloaked God King, Jun Wuhui. Father, Jun Xiaoyao finally spoke, although he was not used to it. Don't worry, even if the sky falls, your father will hold it up. Jun Wuhui replied, although his tone was still calm. However, Jun Xiaoyao seemed to be able to detect a trace of gratification in her voice. After all, Jun Wuhui cared about the world, but he had never truly taken care of his wife and children. This was a problem in Jun Wuhui's heart. However, as a real man, this Sioux country, it was difficult to return to the Sioux family. That's Jun Wuhui. It's really the Jun family's white-cloaked God King. He's still alive. Haha, I knew it. How could a mere Scarlet Owl King do anything to the Jun family's God King? On the side of the desolate border, countless people also saw the figure standing in front of Jun Xiaoyao through the light screen. It's Wu Hui. Seeing this scene, the Jun family's elders breathed a sigh of relief. It's really the Wu Hui God King. That's great. It's our benefactor. I knew it. Our benefactor couldn't be defeated. He is our immortal domain's invincible God King. At the border, the fourth Master Scar saw Jun Wuhui's figure and couldn't help but roar, his old eyes filled with tears. The white-cloaked God King, Jun Wuhui, could be said to be the faith of the border's gatekeepers. They had always believed. The God King was here, the border was here. At this moment, countless gatekeepers were shouting, roaring, and incomparably excited. Welcome back, white-cloaked God King. The God King has returned. Kill all enemies. Countless creatures in the immortal domain were praying and shouting, their hearts filled with faith. Although they were separated by millions of miles, Jun Wuhui couldn't hear them. However, they were still venting the excitement in their hearts. From this, it could be seen how terrifying Jun Wuhui's reputation in the Nine Heavens immortal domain was. One chi into three pure ones. One person suppressing three great forbidden lands. Since ancient times, how many people had such boldness? Only Jun Wuhui among the heroes of ancient times. Meanwhile, some of the foreign kings were watching coldly from the sidelines. So what if it's the white-cloaked god of war? In front of the great calamity, everything is nothing. That's right, we can let the great calamity get rid of this great trouble. The immortal king murmured with cold, killing intent. In the depths of the skyless dark world, where he saw Jun Wuhui appear, the ultimate calamity's indifferent emotions stirred up a small wave. Another member of the Jun family. Jun Wuhui's appearance took the ultimate calamity by surprise, but he remained calm. Undefeatable strength was the reason why the ultimate calamity looked down on everything. The source of the foreign realm's calamity is attacking a junior. Isn't that a little too shameful? Jun Wuhui was as handsome as jade, with a dignified appearance, surrounded by 3,000 divine kingdoms. He was extremely aloof. He was like the king of gods worshipped by the gods. Even in the face of the ultimate calamity, he was still calm and unmoved. This was the peerless demeanor of a true god king. The moral standards of living creatures don't apply to me. Besides, I must eliminate the Jun family. When the Jun family was mentioned, the usually emotionless ultimate calamity had a slight fluctuation in its emotions. It was obvious that the relationship between the Jun family and the ultimate calamity was not that simple. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flickered when he realized this. He had guessed that Jun Wuhui's goal was to wait for the Six Kings to open the skyless dark world. But what was the reason behind this? Did Jun Wuhui have the ability to kill the ultimate calamity? Although he respected his father, Jun Xiaoyao didn't think that Jun Wuhui had this kind of ability. He was very strong. But the problem was that the current Jun Wuhui was only one of the three pure ones. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was puzzled, Jun Wuhui looked at the ultimate calamity and smiled indifferently. I only came here to take back what belongs to my Jun family. Hearing these words, the indifferent ultimate calamity's pitch-black pupils released a terrifying killing intent. Suddenly, the heavens shook. Black fog swept out. A large area of the universe collapsed. Did I poke your weak spot? Jun Wuhui stood with his hand behind his back, his expression indifferent. Ant, angering me will only make you die in more despair. The ultimate calamity still pointed out with a finger. The runes of the great Tao of darkness branded the universe. The power of black blood surged. The black fog swept out like an ocean. A large area of stars were shattered, destroyed, and turned into nothingness. Seeing this, Jun Wuhui's brows furrowed. Although his tone was indifferent, he didn't underestimate the ultimate calamity. Jun Wuhui pushed the God King body to the extreme. Lines of runes branded the sky. Facing the ultimate calamity, ordinary moves were useless. The moment Jun Wuhui attacked, it was the dusk of the gods. Light shone, the gods fell. This was the terrifying move of the God King body. It wanted to pull everything into the dusk of destruction. Unparalleled fluctuations swept out. The galaxy shattered. The universe was destroyed. The runes of the great Tao, the divine chains of order, they were all collapsing. It was as if this area was going to be completely erased into nothingness by the ultimate move. Lord God King. At the border, countless people's hearts tightened. The heroic spirit of the white-robed God King surged into the clouds, his spirit shaking through the ages. Did he have the ability to stop the ultimate calamity? Chapter 1100. Han Long Long. Heaven and earth seemed to have returned to primal chaos. All matter seemed to have been scattered back to its original state. This was an astonishing scene, representing a great clash of the most powerful. What void shattering? Before this type of clash, it was nothing more than child's play. Right now, the great battle in desolate border temporarily stopped. The experts of both sides had great tacit understanding. The battle on their side wasn't something that could end in a short amount of time. Meanwhile, what could truly decide the situation between the two realms was only the ultimate calamity. If the ultimate calamity truly revived, walking out from heavenless dark world, then immortal domain would face a great life and death calamity. At the very least, several immortal domains would collapse. Millions and millions of lives would be bathed in blood. Many undying powers would be wiped out. Meanwhile, if the ultimate calamity could be sealed or slumbered again, then immortal domain's calamity would temporarily be alleviated. As for killing the ultimate calamity, even immortal domain's creatures didn't dare imagine this. Under the eyes of countless creatures, in that region that was blasted into primal chaos, a muffled groan sounded. Jun Wuhui's figure appeared, blasted backwards, his chest shaking intensely. Many of the divine runes on his body erased. A strand of blood flowed out from the corners of his lips. Father! Jun Xiaoyao's pupils shook. It's fine. Xiaoyao, you should leave first. Jun Wuhui wiped away the blood at the corners of his lips, his back still perfectly straight. How is this possible? When they saw this scene, the foreign kings of Desolate Border were all stunned. They originally thought that Jun Wuhui would be killed by the ultimate calamity finger. After all, even something as powerful as a deity's evil was wiped out by the ultimate calamity finger. No matter how strong Jun Wuhui was, he was still just one of the three pure ones. Even if this clone had strength that wasn't much different from the main bodies. Apart from this, the most important thing was Jun Wuhui's cultivation realm. He didn't take that step. That was the most horrifying part of it all. Jun Wuhui's strength really couldn't be measured with cultivation realm. He was also an existence that transcended normal reasoning. This person really is a monster. No wonder he could call himself a king in white, forever guarding the border pass. That's right. There are millions of heroes in the immortal realms, but only the God King left his name behind. Even though they were on the opposing side, some immortal kings were sighing emotionally. Jun Wuhui was indeed a headache-inducing, detestable, yet admirable opponent. Will Lord God King be able to block it? One of the gatekeepers was worried. You must believe in the God King. He is the protector of our immortal region. The fourth Master Scar shouted. His faith was firm. His benefactor, Jun Wuhui, was invincible and undefeatable. In my Jun family, only Wu Hui and Xiaoyao can follow in that person's footsteps and even surpass him. Jun Xinyu, the great emperor of the Jun family's hidden branch, muttered to himself. Although he and the one from the main branch of the Jun family were both called great emperors. However, he knew that the strength of that person had already surpassed the supreme martial monarch level. Within the heavenless dark world, Jun Wuhui's white robes fluttered in the wind. 3,000 divine kingdoms revolved around him, chanting Sanskrit. He was like a ray of light in the darkness, bringing a glimmer of hope to the despairing world. Father, I won't leave. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was very firm. He wasn't the kind of person who would act on impulse. But now, Jun Xiaoyao felt that he should stay here. Moreover, I still have a bet with the ultimate calamity. Let's see who will have the last laugh. Jun Xiaoyao was also quite carefree. Life and death were not in his eyes. Jun Wuhui was silent, and then he smiled. He was proud of Jun Xiaoyao. Even if he died, the Jun family would still have Jun Xiaoyao as their hope. As long as Jun Xiaoyao was here, the Jun family would not be destroyed. You have indeed exceeded my expectations. The ultimate calamity seemed to be a little surprised that Jun Wuhui could block his finger. Since ancient times, how many people have been able to fight against the calamity? I, Jun Wuhui, have no regrets to have this battle. Jun Wuhui smiled carefreely. With Jun Xiaoyao, this Qilin's son, he could also fight to his heart's content. Divine King Regeneration Technique. Jun Wuhui's body was resplendent, imprinted with runes, shining. This was the Divine King Physique's recovery technique. As long as one's foundation was not damaged, they could instantly recover. It was similar to the Divine Spirit Indestructible technique that Jun Xiaoyao obtained from the Book of Life. In just a few moments, Jun Wuhui's injuries were healed. He leaped into the sky, directly arriving in front of the ultimate calamity, and struck out with a seal. Divine King's seal of the fallen immortal. The white-clothed Divine King moved gracefully, fighting against the calamity. This scene was deeply engraved in the hearts of countless beings in the desolate border. Many of the women were even more stunned. Jun Wuhui, Jun Xiaoyao, this pair of father and son, was really enough to shock the world. Since ancient times, how many heroes could there be? Bang! In the void, great destruction erupted again. Facing this ultimate disaster that could bring despair to everyone, Jun Wuhui did not have the slightest hesitation or retreat. You are his father? This fearless courage of the ignorant comes from the same source. Facing the incoming Jun Wuhui, the ultimate calamity's expression was cold. Around him, black blood condensed into a barrier, imprinted with black runes. Jun Wuhui's seal did not break through the black blood barrier. The ultimate calamity continued to point out. He did not have any divine abilities. Perhaps, at his level, unless it was a true world-ending forbidden move, all other moves were superfluous. Simple, a finger, a palm, a fist, they were all supreme techniques. This was the ultimate calamity that brought endless fear and pollution to the world. An invincible existence. Even the battle with the white-clothed Divine King, in the eyes of the ultimate calamity. It was nothing more than a game of cat and mouse. Facing this almost hopeless battle, Jun Wuhui's eyes did not show any signs of dejection. God's judgment, fallen God's seal. In the 3,000 divine kingdoms, the 3,000 gods sitting cross-legged sent down their divine retribution at the same time. This was the God's judgment. It had unparalleled power. With the support of the 3,000 gods, it turned into the fallen God seal. The void was crushed. Even the Tao was destroyed by this seal. Bang! The black blood barrier shook violently. It's all useless. The black tide will destroy the world. The true black calamity will descend. I am one of the apocalypses, 4 apocalypses. I will first bring calamity and despair to the world. Your resistance is like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. The ultimate calamity was indifferent from the beginning to the end. His demonic voice echoed through the ages, bringing endless despair to everyone. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with a dark light. He heard a key message from the ultimate calamity. Apocalypses for apocalypses. Regarding this, Jun Xiaoyao thought of a story from the Bible in his previous life. When the world-destroying calamity arrived, the apocalypse's four horsemen would descend and bring the final destruction to the world. The four horsemen represented war, famine, plague, and death. Of course, that was a story from the Bible in his previous life. But now, the apocalypse's four apocalypses that the ultimate calamity mentioned made Jun Xiaoyao think of this. Black blood pollutes the endless world. All living beings that come into contact with it will fall into madness. Doesn't that correspond to the plague of the four apocalypses? Jun Xiaoyao thought of this. He felt a chill run down his spine. Could it be that there are three more taboo existences like the ultimate calamity in this world? This made Jun Xiaoyao think of the great terrors of the world. The origin, the great calamity, the mysterious realm sea, the hidden existences of the burial realm, as well as the chaos of the darkness. It seems that behind all of these calamities, there are the shadows of the apocalypse's four apocalypses. They're the driving force behind the great calamity. The four apocalypses, what kind of existences are they? Were they created by some unimaginable existence, or were they the source of their own destruction? The waters of this world are too deep. Jun Xiaoyao's mood was a bit heavy. However, this also motivated him to obtain even more power. In the desolate border, many immortal domain beings saw the scene on the screen, their eyes dimming. What should we do? Even Lord Divine King can't break through the ultimate calamity's defense. That's right, Lord Divine King is already strong enough, but the opponent is the ultimate calamity. They couldn't even break through the defense. This gave them a feeling of despair. If it was anyone else, even a great emperor, facing this situation, they would be powerless, unable to do anything. But Jun Wuhui's expression was firm, his eyes shining. He continued to attack, his fighting spirit not decreasing at all. Foolish. The ultimate calamity's tone was cold. Bang! It was another world-shaking strike that could destroy the universe. Jun Wuhui was forced back again. This time, he spat out a mouthful of blood, dyeing his white clothes red. Lord Divine King. At the border, countless people's hearts twitched. The fourth Master Scar even shouted, his old eyes trembling. Wuhui. The Jun family elders' hearts were also trembling. Is there really no other way? The immortal domain cultivators all felt despair. Even the faith in their hearts, Jun Wuhui, couldn't stop it. Who else could save this world? Chapter 1101. At this moment, the hearts of all the living beings in the immortal realm were filled with despair. The great emperors of the immortal realm were all silent. The Big Dipper Emperor let out an old sigh. Even he would definitely not be able to block the attack of the ultimate calamity. Jun Wuhui being able to fight the ultimate calamity to such an extent was already beyond many people's expectations. The white-robed divine king lived up to his name. At this moment, in the skyless dark realm, Jun Wuhui's white clothes were stained with blood, and the blood on his chest bloomed like peach blossoms. Father, Jun Xiaoyao's pupils also trembled. He had been invincible since he was born and had dominated the world. He was in high spirits. But now, Jun Xiaoyao felt a rare sense of powerlessness. This was an emotion that he had never felt before. I'm still too weak, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Although he was invincible among the younger generation, even some of the older generation powerhouses weren't his match. But Jun Xiaoyao still felt that he was too weak. And at this moment, Jun Xiaoyao suddenly noticed that the seed of faith in his body seemed to be trembling slightly because of his emotions. It seemed to be brewing something. At the same time, Jun Xiaoyao also noticed that the 10-star reward for signing in, the 3-world copper coffin, seemed to be trembling a little. This is Jun Xiaoyao's expression froze. At this moment, Jun Wuhui continued to make his move. Facing the ultimate calamity, he didn't hold back and directly used his forbidden move. Jun Wuhui activated the Divine King body's extreme divine power. At the same time, he patted his chest with his palm and sacrificed the blood of his heart. In order to use this move, he needed to sacrifice blood. Behind Jun Wuhui, 12 blurry lights gathered, and a terrifying aura swept across the vast universe. Each aura was incomparably shocking. Like 12 gods behind Jun Wuhui, divine light illuminated the universe and shook the greater world. Ritian, Witan, Brahma, Earthly, Ishishin, Vaishnavan, Sakra, Wind, Fire, Water, Flame, and Rakshasa. The 12 gods appeared together, their might suppressing the universe and shaking the universe. God King Forbidden Technique, 12 gods heavenly hunt. Jun Wuhui shouted, and divine power erupted from his entire body. This was the terrifying forbidden technique of the God King physique, 12 gods heavenly hunt. Once the forbidden move was unleashed, heaven and earth collapsed. The universe was destroyed, and all living things fell silent. The power of the 12 heavenly deities was imbued into Jun Wuhui's body, and he unleashed a forbidden attack. It was as if he wanted to annihilate all existences. In desolate border, countless creatures saw this scene, their scalps turning numb. Is this the true strength of the Jun family's divine king? It's just too terrifying. Some of the utmost powerful beings sighed. This move was enough to kill a monarch. Ultimate Calamity also let out a soft sound of surprise. Then, he made his move. This time it wasn't a finger but a palm. From this, it could be seen that even Ultimate Calamity was surprised by this move and became slightly more serious. Bang! An indescribable collision erupted. Strangely, there was no sound. Because even the void was being annihilated soundlessly, there was no material existence, so naturally, no sound could be transmitted. Such a terrifying collision even blasted out the primal chaos energy. There seemed to be a gap in time. With a PU sound, Ultimate Calamity's black blood barrier was broken. Then, Ultimate Calamity was forced back a step. It was precisely this step that made the pupils of the foreign kings suddenly contract. How could this be? The mighty Calamity was actually forced back a step. Countless foreign creatures cried out in alarm, unable to believe this. What kind of existence was Ultimate Calamity? Even if it was just a single step back, it was enough to make countless people feel horrified. On the other hand, Jun Wuhui's divine king physique was crumbling, many bloody wounds appearing on the surface of his body. Cold and beautiful blood dyed the divine king's white clothes red. He was injured to the extent where even his divine king source was injured a bit. After smashing apart many stars, only then did Jun Wuhui's figure stop, coughing out another mouthful of blood. Father! Jun Xiaoyao couldn't help but speak out. At the same time, his eyes looked towards Ultimate Calamity, carrying endless coldness. He wasn't like Jun Wuhui, who cared about all living beings. He only cared about his family, his loved ones. And Jun Wuhui was precisely the existence with the deepest bloodline with him. That was why Jun Wuhui was also one of Jun Xiaoyao's reverse scales, one that couldn't be touched. You actually didn't die. You have indeed exceeded my expectations. Ultimate Calamity looked at Jun Wuhui, who was covered in blood, yet still standing, a bit surprised. The battle is far from over. Jun Wuhui's expression was resolute. 12 gods' heavenly hunt was his divine king forbidden move. However, it only broke through Ultimate Calamity's black blood barrier, forcing him back a step. But truthfully speaking, this was an astonishing feat in itself. No one would look down on Jun Wuhui because of this. Instead, they would feel even more admiration for him. Because not everyone could fight against the Ultimate Calamity to such an extent. In front of Calamity, even great emperors were incomparably weak as children. Jun Wuhui urged on his divine might again, using the Divine King regeneration technique. However, his divine king source was injured. His recovery ability was greatly inferior to before. Meanwhile, right at this time, outside Skyless Dark Realm, There's actually undying aura that pervaded the air again. Those were some undying kings who were still in the foreign realm. Even the desolate border had gathered many top-level foreign realm forces. However, the foreign realm was vast. There were still undying kings who hadn't fought yet. Right now, several undying kings appeared outside Skyless Dark Realm, wishing to have an audience with ultimate calamity. Not good. On Desolate Border's side, when Immortal Domain's creatures saw this scene, their faces even more so became deathly pale. Just ultimate calamity alone was enough to make Jun Wuhui fall into a life and death situation. Now, several more undying kings appeared in this world. Jun Wuhui and Jun Xiaoyao, this father and son pair, apart from death, it seemed like they didn't have a second choice. Not good. We have to save them. There were Jun family elders who shouted, "Calm down. It's too late to go now. We can only trust them. Wuhui isn't such a reckless person." Jun family's 8 ancestors, Jun Tianming, coldly shouted. Even though this was the case, Jun Tianming's fists were still tightly clenched. This father and son pair were the Jun family's hope for tens of thousands of years. They definitely couldn't lose them. This is bad. The eyes of the Jun family's 3 great emperors, including Divine Universe Great Emperor, became fierce at the same time, wishing to tear open the void, create a passage, head to the foreign realm. With their great emperor's methods, accomplishing this was naturally extremely easy. However, they were immediately stopped by the foreign realm's emperor clan kings. "Where are you all going? Isn't it better to just watch the show?" Ultimate Emperor Clan's kings sneered. "The consequences of angering my Jun family. Can your foreign realm endure it?" Divine Universe Great Emperor was furious, his emperor might shaking heaven and earth. Meanwhile, on Skyless Dark Realm's side, a divine turtle that was the size of a continent turned into a bald elder with a tortoise's back. He stopped outside Skyless Dark Realm just like that. "Shanao of Beach, what is the meaning of this?" Those undying kings who wanted to meet the ultimate disaster saw Shanao of Beach, their expressions falling. "No one is allowed to enter." Shanao of Beach said coldly. Jun Wuhui didn't let him enter the depths of Dark Realm. Even though Shanao of Beach wasn't weak, when facing the ultimate disaster, he would only be weaker than Jun Wuhui. "Shanao of Beach, it seems like you want to betray my realm." The undying kings were furious. Shanao of Beach didn't say anything, his aura erupting. Words already had no meaning. Even if he was alone, he would rather die than let them enter and disturb Jun Wuhui. "I, Shanao of Beach, am willing to sacrifice my life for benefactor's family." Shanao of Beach's aura erupted, rushing into the 9 heavens, taking the initiative to attack those undying kings. That undying king, could it be? On the Jun family side, there were ancient ancestors who saw Shanao of Beach through the screen of light, a hint of shock flashing past their eyes. Some ancient ancestors seemed to vaguely remember that in some vague records, that ancient ancestor had previously saved a divine turtle in a forbidden land. However, later on, there was no news of his whereabouts. They didn't expect him to actually hide in the foreign realm for several eras, even becoming a foreign, undying king. However, just one won't be enough to stop him. A Jun family elder was anxious. Right at this moment, on Dark Realm's side, Jun Xiaoyao also sensed that at the edge of Dark Realm, the auras of the clash of undying kings erupted. Jun Xiaoyao didn't hesitate in the slightest, directly activating a red spider lily. At the same time, a red line appeared on his wrist. Good steel should be used on the blade's edge. This time, let's see if you all can keep your promise. Jun Xiaoyao thought inwardly. Right now, it was an extremely dangerous moment. It was easy to add flowers to embroidery, but difficult to provide timely assistance. Chapter 1102. As Jun Xiaoyao took out the red spider lily, a large patch of scarlet red spider lilies suddenly bloomed in the void. A peerlessly beautiful and otherworldly figure stepped on the Permitha flower bridge and appeared. 3,000 strands of black hair scattered in the void, each strand crystal clear. It was the phantom of the red spider, Lily Mother. Jun Xiaoyao had only used it once before. He killed a quasi-immortal of the hacky imperial family across the endless void. At this moment, the phantom of the red spider Lily Mother appeared again and rushed to the edge of the dark realm to join the battle. The red spider Lily Mother? Shanao of Beach was also surprised, but he quickly figured it out. Looks like it's the doing of that Mr. Xiaoyao, Shanao of Beach thought to himself. He couldn't help but sigh. Like father, like son. This pair of father and son were really monsters. Seeing the phantom of the red spider Lily Mother joining the battle, Jun Xiaoyao heaved a sigh of relief. To be honest, he had some hope that the real body of the red spider Lily Mother would appear. After all, it was the ghost masked woman's reincarnation. There was no doubt about the strength of the red spider Lily Mother. She had already far surpassed the level of an ordinary immortal king. However, Jun Xiaoyao didn't place his hopes on the red spider Lily Mother. If she came, it would be out of goodwill. If she didn't, it would be out of her duty. On the other side, in the void, an endless rain of flowers appeared. In the light, a beautiful, charming, and peerless figure appeared. Behind her, 9 snow-white foxtails fluttered, covered by endless runes. In terms of elegance, she wasn't much inferior to the red spider Lily Mother. It was the immortal king of Tushan, the 9-tailed king, consort Dafei. During the Tushan matchmaking convention, Jun Xiaoyao improved the Tushan's love dream immortal sutra. Therefore, the 9-tailed king promised Jun Xiaoyao a favor. Red spider Lily Mother, 9-tailed king, did the two of you betray our world? Seeing these two figures appear, the immortal king's faces became a bit more solemn. If it was just the Shanao of Beach, they could quickly suppress him if they attacked together. But with the red spider Lily Mother and 9-tailed king, they weren't confident. 9-tailed king was fine. The red spider Lily Mother, even if it was just a phantom of the red spider Lily Mother. I didn't betray him. I only owe him a favor. Kings, please don't make things difficult for me. The 9-tailed king Defei's soft body was shrouded in endless immortal light. Her face was blurry. Of Beach King, of Beach King, of Beach of Beach of Beach of Beach Mother. Of Beach Bay, of Beach King, Mother Lily Mother of King, Mother of Bay of her God. Do you know that you're helping someone from the Jun family of the immortal domain? This is betrayal. An immortal king questioned. Mayav of King. 9-tailed King Defei's voice also turned colder. Then we can only fight. Those immortal kings attacked again. On the other side, the illusory figure of the red spider Lily's mother, Shanao of Beach, and the 9-tailed king also made their moves. Immediately, outside the skyless dark world, a chaotic battle between kings erupted, shaking the heavens and the earth. Although it wasn't as destructive as when the ultimate calamity attacked, it was still extremely terrifying. Waves surged in all directions, causing heaven and earth to turn upside down and the universe to tremble. Jun Xiaoyao breathed a sigh of relief. Needless to say, the red spider Lily's mother, the 9-tailed king, had kept her promise even after knowing his true identity. This indeed made Jun Xiaoyao think highly of him. This way, for the time being, no one will be able to disturb us. However, the true danger isn't those immortal kings, but rather the ultimate disaster. Jun Xiaoyao looked at the battlefield again. Although Jun Wuhui stood upright, his white robes were stained with blood, like blooming peach blossoms. Boring battle, let's end it here. Ultimate calamity had clearly lost its patience. Jun Wuhui's strength was beyond his expectations. However, he was still an ant trying to shake a tree and overestimating his own strength. Ultimate calamity attacked again. This attack wasn't just aimed at Jun Wuhui. At the same time, it was aimed at Jun Xiaoyao, wanting to completely erase him. Gongzi, Su Hongyi's eyes, which were already bloodshot, started to bleed even more. Back off first! Jun Xiaoyao waved his sleeves and pushed Su Hongyi out of this place. Kagura looked at all this with a complicated expression. Jun Xiaoyao didn't have time to care. At this moment, he was frowning. Waiting for death wasn't Jun Xiaoyao's style. Boom! Jun Wuhui once again blocked in front of Jun Xiaoyao. Terrifying dark runes and black blood surrounded Jun Wuhui, wanting to corrode him. Haha, I've changed my mind. I'll let the black blood corrode your mind and let you watch yourself fall into darkness. This feeling must be wonderful, right? He changed his mind and wanted to corrode Jun Wuhui's will. He wanted to turn the white-robed divine king into a dark, killing god. No, divine king. Divine king is invincible. At the border, everyone who saw this scene was so angry that their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Fourth Master Scar's eyes were so wide that it seemed like they were about to explode. They could see that the black blood had surrounded Jun Wuhui, wanting to corrode him and dye his white robes black. This was something that none of the immortal region cultivators could accept. How could the divine king of a generation die so sadly? Father, Jun Xiaoyao was also shocked. Chaotic aura surged all over his body, and his supreme divine blood surged. At the same time, he activated the black blood. His black hair turned white, and his eyes emitted a faint purple light. A terrifying power was brewing in Jun Xiaoyao's body. How can this be? You can actually control the power of the black blood? Ultimate Calamity looked at Jun Xiaoyao with incomparable surprise. His pitch-black and numb eyes instantly emitted a soul-stirring cold light. His emotional fluctuations this time were greater than before. Jun Xiaoyao was a creature of the immortal region. Not only did he not go crazy because of the black blood, but he could also control the power of the black blood. This was indeed out of Ultimate Calamity's expectations. Jun Xiaoyao attacked. His power was shocking as he attacked the black blood that surrounded Jun Wuhui. However, he was unable to break it. Even though Jun Xiaoyao had broken through the extreme realm and could be called a supreme being, in the end, he was still only a supreme being. He was still far from being able to contend against an existence like Ultimate Calamity. Interesting. Since that's the case, then I'll erase your consciousness and let you become the true Dark Devil Monarch. Ultimate Calamity stretched out his hand and reached out towards Jun Xiaoyao at the same time. He also wanted to completely corrupt him with the black blood. To be honest, Jun Xiaoyao's talent and strength surprised Ultimate Calamity. If such a figure was killed directly, even Ultimate Calamity felt that it would be a pity. He felt that rather than killing Jun Xiaoyao, it would be better to let Jun Xiaoyao become the true Dark Devil Monarch. It was also a good choice. Looking at the dark hand that reached out, Jun Xiaoyao's gaze was incomparably sharp. I, Jun Xiaoyao, would rather die than be used by you. Jun Xiaoyao's supreme being divine blood was burning and boiling. He wanted to go all out. He would not let this life down. However, just as everyone was nervously watching, a peerless figure silently tore through the void and appeared in front of Jun Xiaoyao. She was dressed in a black dress that wrapped around her proud figure. She was peerless, graceful, and beautiful. Her bare feet tapped on the void, and great Tao patterns spread out under her sparkling feet. Countless spider lilies bloomed around her, blooming all over the universe. They were gorgeous and withered. The great Tao resonated, and heaven and earth shook. This was the phenomenon of a supreme being. The person who appeared was actually the mother of the spider lilies. It was not an illusion like before, but her real body. Chapter 1103. The mother of the red spider lilies, a legendary powerhouse of the other side. Her strength was unfathomable, far surpassing ordinary immortal kings. At the same time, Jun Xiaoyao also knew that the mother of the red spider lilies was the ghost masked woman's previous life. And who was the ghost masked woman? She was an existence who walked through ancient history and the long river of time. Jun Xiaoyao couldn't determine what realm the ghost masked woman was at. But from a situation when the ghost masked woman entered the skyless dark world, the Ultimate Calamity shouldn't be able to do anything to the ghost masked woman, even if the calamity might be in a sealed state at that time. Senior, you really came. Jun Xiaoyao smiled slightly, although he had already expected it. But when he saw the mother of the red spider lilies appear, Jun Xiaoyao still secretly heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that as the ghost masked woman's previous life, the mother of the red spider lilies was indeed greatly influenced by her. The ghost masked woman had left behind many contingencies to help Jun Xiaoyao grow. This time, Jun Xiaoyao encountered a life and death crisis. As the ghost masked woman's previous life, the mother of the red spider lilies naturally couldn't remain indifferent. "You are really reckless." The mother of the red spider lilies stood in front of Jun Xiaoyao and said indifferently. Obviously, she didn't understand Jun Xiaoyao's desperate actions. Jun Xiaoyao looked at the graceful back of the mother of the red spider lilies and sighed silently. He knew that this time, he had brought a lot of trouble to the mother of the red spider lilies. After all, if she had a choice, the mother of the red spider lilies definitely didn't want to provoke the ultimate calamity. "I'm sorry, but I hope Senior can save my father," Jun Xiaoyao said in a deep voice. He didn't want to live off a woman. However, he was forced to do so. No matter how monstrous Jun Xiaoyao was, it was impossible for him to directly erupt and destroy the ultimate calamity. That was simply unrealistic and went against common sense. The mother of the red spider lilies didn't say anything. Reason told her that she shouldn't get involved in this matter. But there was always a voice in her mind that told her to save Jun Xiaoyao. Then she heard Jun Xiaoyao's request. The red spider lily's mother was slightly surprised. She knew very well just how prideful Jun Xiaoyao was and how sharp his spirit was. But now, he was willing to beg her like this. It could be seen that Jun Wuhui was very important to Jun Xiaoyao. The mother of the Permitha flower didn't say much. She waved her jade-like hand, and a large number of Permitha flower petals appeared in the air, rushing towards Jun Wuhui. Jun Wuhui was wrapped in endless dark runes and black blood. The situation was extremely critical. However, the Hellflower Mother's attack didn't break through the layer of black blood. Ultimate Calamity's black and numb eyes looked at the red spider lily's mother, his gaze indifferent. A supreme being who hasn't reached the level of a god yet. He's even further away from the level of a mythical calamity. "What qualifications do you have to resist me?" Ultimate Calamity's palm pressed down on the red spider lily's mother. It was as if the pitch-black universe had enveloped it, wanting to melt the red spider lily's mother. The mother of the red spider lilies had a peerlessly beautiful face that was extremely cold. On her snow-white forehead, there was a red spider lily imprint that was exceptionally bright red. She raised her hand, and endless great Tao runes appeared, gathering and finally forming a great Tao treasure bottle. As the bottle spun, it seemed to be able to swallow everything. This was a technique that belonged to the ghost masked woman. Rumble. The void was twisted into pieces, and the divine chains of order were broken. All matter seemed to be swallowed by the great Tao treasure bottle. But even so, the power of ultimate calamity was too strong. The majestic black blood that could destroy the universe poured into the great Tao treasure bottle. In the end, it actually directly exploded the great Tao treasure bottle. The terrifying energy exploded, causing this already broken universe to be even more riddled with holes. It could be said that if this wasn't the dark sky world, if it was in the outside world, the battle fluctuations would definitely be able to destroy the world. Oomph! A faint groan sounded. The red spider lily's mother was forced back, her figure retreating. In the end, a figure appeared behind the red spider lily's mother, holding her shoulder. It was Jun Xiaoyao. "Senior, if you really can't do it, let's leave first." Jun Xiaoyao's voice was calm. He finally thought it through. Although the red spider lily's mother was strong, it was still useless against ultimate calamity. Since that was the case, why sacrifice the innocent? The karma between them, father and son, let them face it personally. What's the use of saying all this now? The red spider lily's mother's voice was very cold, carrying a trace of anger, as if she was resentful towards Jun Xiaoyao for treating her like an outsider. "Senior." Jun Xiaoyao was speechless for a moment. "Everything should end. After you all fall, it will be the day of the celestial realm's destruction." Ultimate calamity had no patience. The game of cat and mouse should also end. Hearing these words, all the celestial realm cultivators in the desolate border turned deathly pale, without a trace of blood. A feeling called despair filled everyone's hearts. What should we do? The divine king has been imprisoned, about to fall into darkness. Who can save him? Ultimate calamity is attacking. Even the great emperors and ancient emperors can't stop it. Does our celestial realm still have hope? Many celestial realm cultivators cried out in grief, unable to accept this result. In the border pass, Fourth Master Scar and the other protectors were also furious, calling out the divine king's name. It could be said that the entire celestial realm sank into a state of despair. Meanwhile, in contrast to the celestial realm, the foreign side was full of fighting spirit, morale surging like a rainbow. Haha, this golden age has indeed ushered in the final days of the celestial realm. In the great war between the two realms since ancient times, it was still our side that came out on top. The foreign side's undying emperor clans and ultimate emperor clans kings were all shouting, their voices grand. Hateful, if not for my June family's most powerful being not being here. The June family's old ancestors were all secretly clenching their fists. This was especially true for the 18th ancestor. He had watched June Xiaoyao grow up, treating him like his own grandson. He naturally couldn't accept that June Xiaoyao would fall under the ultimate calamity's hands. Don't be in such a rush. Things haven't come to a conclusion yet. The result is still unknown. The June family's 8th ancestor, June Tianming, his eyes sunk. These old ancestors didn't know about the June family's plan this time. However, he vaguely knew a thing or two. Within the skyless dark realm, the ultimate calamity wanted to completely make June Wuhuwei and June Xiaoyao fall into darkness. Meanwhile, he was also going to directly eliminate the Permitha Flower Mother. Right when the ultimate calamity was about to take action, that June Wuhuwei, who was wrapped in black blood, suddenly didn't move at all. Previously, the black blood was still shaking, proving that June Wuhuwei was struggling, trying to break free from the black blood's imprisonment. However, now, there wasn't the slightest bit of movement. Oh, it ended so quickly. The ultimate calamity said indifferently, "Father." June Xiaoyao's heart tightened. Normally, his temperament was indifferent, rarely caring about anyone. However, right now, June Xiaoyao really found it hard to calm down. He was scared that his father would become unfamiliar, that he would completely fall into darkness. Right at this time, a rumbling sound suddenly sounded. The black blood that was wrapped in it trembled intensely. This immediately made heaven and earth become silent. In the desolate border, countless creatures were holding their breaths. Could it be that there was still a turning point in this hopeless situation? After a short moment of deathly silence, accompanied by an incomparably terrifying energy fluctuation, an awe-inspiring voice sounded. "I, June Wuhuwei, am willing to use this body to dispel the boundless darkness in this world."